Yeah. Happy Wednesday to those who celebrate. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you on a glorious hump day. And we have news. So as soon as we turned off our microphones yesterday, we did talk about potential head coaching vacancies that may be coming up in the near future. We mentioned the Cowboys, if they have a less than fortuitous run in the postseason. Same with the Eagles, maybe McCarthy and Sirianni being handed their walking papers in the NFC East. We were talking about the Seattle Seahawks. There's been some speculation that Pete Carroll might lose his job. We were even mentioning Mike Tomlin, because a lot of people frustrated with the Steelers, even though they've had winning records or even records over this span of 5 years. It's been pretty disappointing. When they sneak into the postseason, the results are not good. They snuck into the postseason this year. They faced the Bills first. The results probably not going to look good. But it was Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel, the next coach out. So the Tennessee Titans move on from their coach, who was under contract, 6 seasons as the Titans head coach, back-to-back losing seasons for the Titans, though. Any surprise, shock value to this one for you, TD?
Yeah, I guess I wasn't really expecting this one, but I'm one more surprised that when you said we got big news today that you didn't mention sombreros.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so talk about burying the lead.
Because also right after the show yesterday, we got an email.
We did.
Saying our friends over at Sombreros are swinging by today.
Thank you.
If you have never been to Sombreros Mexican food for their San Diego style delicious delicacies, what have you been doing? Right. What rock have you been living under?
Because not only can you go, I believe they cater too.
Oh, they cater too. They've got 40 years in the business. We've met 2 generations of Sombreros owners. Papa and son Javier is going to come in today at some point. Can't wait to chat with him. But rolled tacos, carne asada fries. These are all things we sampled in this building or have gone out to Sombreros Mexican food to get our own. Breakfast burritos, by the way, served all day.
Oh, yeah.
This is what I love. So a lot of people don't think of breakfast burritos as like good tailgating food, but sometimes when the Aztecs, they've got one of those 1 o'clock kickoffs at Snapdragon Stadium, you drive into a Sombreros Mexican food and you get yourself a breakfast burrito like in the afternoon, like on your way over, or like they have an earlier evening kick and I'm getting there early for my sweat. Nothing like a 11:30, say nooner breakfast burrito.
Well, they have drive-through, so
you can go. An 11 p.m. breakfast burrito is fantastic.
I'll tell you, what you talk about, like we do the different beers. What beer is your favorite beer? You know, lake beer, boat beer, garage beer, mowing the lawn beer, those things.
Yeah.
One of my favorite breakfast burritos is snow breakfast burrito. And every year, Kendall and I at some point go up to Julian when it snows and we just go sit in the snow for a little bit because it's cool and we don't get that in San Diego. We always bring breakfast burritos.
Nice.
That is smart. Yeah, you stop at a Sombreros or you drive through one on your way. The deluxe breakfast burrito, by the way, they're egg, potato, cheese, choice of bacon, sausage, or chorizo. Get your fill there. Also, I think coming in today, we may get some churros. Not just churros, but the cream-filled ones. They're filled with cream or strawberry. I mean, can you think of any? What? I mean, that's dastardly.
Yeah, yes, it is.
I mean,
it is.
What I mean, I defy you to name something better at 7:30 in the morning. I am going to the churro for me will be the appetizer to the breakfast burrito. One will come before the other.
Correct.
And I love their salsas. This place is awesome.
Yeah, I'm 1,000,000% cannot wait. That's coming up 7:30. They'll be stopping by. But to your point, yeah, I guess I was a little surprised. I mean, I feel like the NFL, we're now in the time period where you got a report card, and in a couple years, if that report card isn't showing good grades, you're out.
Well, the reality of the NFL is NFL stands for not for long, but it also stands for it doesn't stand for the acronym doesn't represent this, but owners have short memories, so do fan bases, and there are teams that get fed up awfully quick with losing. And the Tennessee Titans proved to be one of those teams. In fact, there was some speculation that Vrabel could be traded, that Vrabel could be one of these coaches who's currently under contract, could be traded because there's that much value, even though he's had back-to-back losing seasons with the Titans. Some people thought, well, with New England, maybe they could be a potential trade landing spot. Well, the owner of the, or I should say the controlling interest of the Tennessee Titans was speaking publicly about this. And she goes, I think there's a little bit of a misconception about how all this works. When you trade a coach, they have to be a willing participant. It's not like you can all of a sudden strike a deal with another owner and be like, all right, now you have my coach. See you later, Mike. Like, that's not how this works. Like, he has to agree to it. It's not like players where your contract can be traded and you could wake up in Detroit one morning and then they say, hey, you're playing for the Giants now, so you better catch that plane. It leaves at 4.
So I've listened to 2 sports talk radio shows like diligently since this happened. I listened to 2 Pros and a Cup of Joe this morning. I was listening to Ben Maller last night on my way home. And what they both thought was odd was that the Tennessee Titans owner sat down with in-house media, not a press conference about this firing. And I don't know that I feel like that's anything that's such a slanderous deal, because what she was saying is exactly what she would have said had there been press. Do you guys feel like there's any sort of big issue in not facing the media after something like this and just facing an in-house person?
It's very weird.
It is strange.
No, it's like, it's something that like the reason why it's being pointed out, and I'm glad you brought it up, because I was going to head there soon, is because that almost never happens.
And then I started to try to picture, okay, well, what would that look like here? And it would look like AJ Preller sitting down with Don Orsillo after, say, firing Manny Machado.
Yeah,
I know that's not.
No, but okay, but all right, like, so an enormous
Padres move that
shift
doesn't necessarily make the fan base happy.
Yeah, imagine if you only spoke to your in-house, like who is it? AJ Cassavell, right? He writes for Padres.com. Imagine if you gave the only person you spoke to was AJ Cassavell, who writes for MLB.com/Padres. And you sit down with him, you're like, all right, AJ, fire away. Whew, we know this is going to be a tough one, but take it easy on us. And,
that's the whole point.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, it doesn't open you up to questions like, Mike Vrabel was a culture builder around here. Obviously, the locker room loves him. What do you expect to be the reaction from your players? Like, people start finding angles here, and, also maybe there's a question that they don't want to answer. Like, maybe there was some sort of exchange along the way, or there was some sort of, I don't know, happening or occurrence that they don't want to necessarily lie about on the record. Who knows what's going on?
Right.
Maybe he wanted out. Okay. A lot of people are saying that maybe Bill Belichick wants out too.
Hey, Rick, does Bill Belichick, I don't know, happen to own a house in Nashville?
A lot of people are thinking that maybe the New England Patriots might move on from Belichick.
What?
And he'll go to Tennessee, and then Mike Vrabel to the New England Patriots. What?
There's no way. Right? Everything is lining up so perfectly. Mike Vrabel's in the Patriots Hall of Fame or the Ring of Honor, whatever they call it. Bill Belichick owns a house in Nashville. He's was born in Nashville. I'm 99% sure. So when you look at how everything is lining up here, if Belichick is in fact out in New England, Tennessee feels like the spot for me. And if Mike Vrabel, well, we now know he's out in Tennessee after being a pretty successful head coach there, for a fact, Patriots is number 1 job on his list.
Yeah, I like that every sports network on the planet, the very first thing that is said, that every time there's some coach that even makes a slight shift to maybe leaving, it's possibly the Chargers.
Yeah.
It never really is, though.
It's a vacancy. A lot, and I mean a lot of the media is in Los Angeles. A lot of the media is in New York. I'm talking about national media.
Dude,
so
Colin Cowherd was basically begging the Chargers to hire Mike Vrabel yesterday.
Oh, dude, yeah. And Colin, obviously, in the Fox studios in LA, and I've been there and I've met a lot of the producers and writers and people who helped put together that show. They all live in LA, and many of them, they're living in houses where their children are sports fans, and those sports fans obviously gravitate towards the home teams, and it'll be Lakers and it'll be Dodgers and Rams or Chargers. It's kind of like choose a side. And there are Chargers fans in the younger generation growing up in LA right now. We knew that was going to happen. Of course it was going to happen. It's going to take a long time for those fans to obviously become representative of the demographic that the NFL is chasing after, but that's how this works. And so the media will be, the national media will be to a certain extent slanted towards certain markets, and the LA market is definitely one of them. But there are some good jobs open across the NFL right now when you really think about it, like the Raiders.
Mike Vrabel's a head coach next year, right?
I think so.
Like, he did a good enough job with Tennessee. I mean, look at who he had at quarterback the entire time he was there. It's not like it was the A-list celebrities. It was guys like Ryan Tannehill and Malik Willis. It hasn't been great at quarterback for him. And he still got them to the playoffs 3 times, won AFC championship. Like, Mike Vrabel's a very good coach in this league. You
are forgetting he did have a Hall of Fame running back who is not only healthy, but inarguably one of the best offensive players in the league for that run of success. And as soon as he started getting hurt, that's when everything fell apart. I mean, I remember during their run of success where Mike Vrabel was winning a ton of football games, TD, and I was thinking to myself, like, well, yeah, this flame is going to flicker and go out as soon as Derrick Henry gets hurt. Now, it took a long time because he had rare health and durability in this league at the position he plays. But as soon as his play started to diminish, Ryan Tannehill came back down to planet Earth. He looks terrible when you have to rely on him. And then the revolving door quarterback began, starting with the Malik Willis drafting. They were hoping that the Liberty quarterback might be a replacement for Tannehill. And then with Will Levis this year.
Yeah, and the Titans may be looking at this going, yeah, we don't like the direction this is going. Or maybe there was a discussion of we want to go this way. And Mike Vrabel said, well, that's not how I want to go. And then that was the end. They parted ways. Or maybe Bill
Belichick is going to be available.
Well, here's the interesting thing. They just hired a general manager. Ron Carthen comes in and he's going to be the Titans GM. He's going to be an integral part of the head coaching search for the Tennessee Titans. So when you think about that, I mean, does that exactly feather the bed for Bill Belichick? Like, are you really making a warm landing spot for him if you're hiring a general manager ahead of time? Because I don't know if Bill Belichick is going to change what he's doing at 70. Like, I'm pretty sure he's going to go to a team that gives him control of the roster.
That's the one question mark, right? And now I do wonder, well, do you just get rid of the GM to bring in Bill Belichick? Maybe that's a move Tennessee sees value in. And I don't know. Because remember, the reason they fired the GM previous was the A.J. Brown trade, because that kind of blew up in their faces. And if you remember the draft room video when A.J. Brown got traded, Mike Vrabel actually stood up and walked out of the room because he was so pissed off. So then you look at, okay, well, that's some instability there because there was obviously disconnect between GM and head coach the first time around. They fire the GM. Now they fire the coach. Belichick might look at that and be like, well, the instability is not something I'm here for. I was just with the New England Patriots, who had some of the most stability in the world.
Yeah. Well, here's the problem with so the two landing spots that seem to make the most sense for Bill Belichick, I would argue, are the Titans and the Raiders. I think that
those Commanders.
No, well, maybe Commanders too. Maybe Commanders. I just mean like either teams that have had recent success, like where there's been somewhat of a culture established. I think it would be helpful for him to go into a situation like that. Antonio Pierce did a nice job with the Raiders, like we were talking about. A lot of players still love Mike Vrabel in that locker room, and Bill Belichick obviously coached Mike Vrabel. He very much so has fallen off the Patriots coaching tree. However, I think these owners are tired of this. Like John Robinson came from the Patriots coaching tree. He's the former GM that Ron Carthen just replaced. So, I mean, it was a whole Patriot staff over there with Robinson and Vrabel running the show. So you're just going to fire the Patriot staff to bring in like where it originated from? Same thing with the Raiders. Josh McDaniels comes out to the desert to coach the Raiders. He brings Patriots West. So you're going to fire him and bring in the OG Patriot way? I think some of these organizations are going to be gun shy hiring a coach or a system that they're trying to get rid of.
Yeah, I get that. I also feel like Bill Belichick would to me, want to look at a team that was set up the same manner that the Tom Brady Patriots were set up. He's going to want a quarterback that is an elite quarterback that can run the show. So it just seems to me, if he's looking down the line at available teams, the Raiders probably aren't one of them. I mean, unless he thinks he can rebuild something in some manner. The Titans don't feel that way, except I understand all the pieces fit in there for he's already got a house there. He's born there. Everything seems great, simpatico. But I mean, I just feel like if Belichick wants to go and he wants to cement a legacy as a winner, he may not want to do a complete rebuild.
All right, we got a pair of tickets coming up to Def Leppard and Journey at Petco Park, August 30th show. It's going to be sold out. That's a promise. Tickets available right here today. Keep listening for your opportunity. Also available at livenation.com. Keep listening for your chance to win. And coming up in just a few minutes, we're bouncing around from playoff city to playoff city. We're going to cover all 12 before the end of the week. We head out to Miami next, but first this.
Well, boys, the news of the day, we've been talking about it all morning. The Titans have fired head coach Mike Vrabel after 6 seasons. 3 of them he got to the playoffs, 1 AFC championship game, if you remember, the Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown team. And as the regular season ends in the NFL, the numbers have been run. The 2023-2024 regular season averaged just under 18 million viewers per game. That's the highest since 2015.
Wow.
Tied for the second highest in recorded history. The NFL is just as strong as ever. I think betting has a big part to do with that. College basketball yesterday, I was texting you guys about it last night. Insane day in the top 25 as Purdue and Houston both losing. Both teams looked unbeatable through the non-conference. They get into conference play, you get on the road, things get a little tricky. Both of those losses coming against unranked opponents. There will be huge shakeups in the top 25 come next Monday. And then the Aztecs, man, it was, was that a game last night? It was back and forth. Neither team ever getting to a big lead. It's a road game in the Mountain West, and those are proven to be tricky. 81-78 final score. Aztecs win. Jaden Ledee pouring in 31 points in the win. Transfer, Jay Powell hits a huge 3 down the stretch, and then had the play of the game that I'll play for you right now. I put this out on X last night that the Aztecs just finding another way to win. It's hugely impressive because last night things weren't going their way in terms of shooting the basketball, which they have been lately, but you still put up 81 points in the game. Jaden Diaz 31. Finding a different way to win a game on the road in the Mountain West is going to be difficult this year. KenPom has the projected winner of the Mountain West being the Aztecs with 5 losses in conference. Like, there's going to be losses. It's important to avoid the can't lose games. Last night was a can't lose game, and it shows in the metrics. You drop a spot, San Jose State actually jumping 11 spots in the metrics. So when you look at last night, how important a 3-point win is versus a 1-point loss, it's huge.
True. Bad win, though. Because metrically, even on the road, it, like, you know, per the numbers, like the Aztecs need to, quote unquote, beat a San Jose State Spartan teams by 10.
They dropped 1 spot in KenPom. I haven't looked at the net yet this morning. It's not as crucial as you would think it might be because San Jose State in their 3 conference games, they've lost all 3 of them, but they've all been within possession at the end of the game.
I agree with what you're saying, but eventually a loss like this can come back and bite you.
Yeah.
Because are we really thinking off to this less than fortuitous start for the Spartans that they're going to spark and all of a sudden have a great season? I would hope so, as long as the next time they face the Aztecs, they suck. Like you want them to win every game from here on out, except for the next one against the Aztecs. I don't see that happening. So a close win over the Spartans, if it gets down to the nitty gritty, when we're talking about where the Aztecs rank in the national rankings, a close win over San Jose State, it starts to get dissected a little bit. Now, here's the thing. The Aztecs are probably fine. But you know what last night reminded me of a little bit, because there's a lot of crossover. The Philadelphia Eagles went to the Super Bowl last year. The Philadelphia Eagles went to the Super Bowl last year, and this year they were 10-1 at one point.
Yeah.
Okay? And they were winning a lot of close games. They were beating teams they should beat, but they were sticking around in games. So it's very good they won. It is awesome that they won. Congrats to the Aztecs. Congrats to Brian Dutcher. Congrats to the whole program over there at San Diego State. You should be proud of any W. However, I'm just very curious how this bodes for the rest of the season. You have to start putting away the garbage. You have to start taking out the trash. You're going to get everybody's best shot, and I understand that. But you're going to have to, at some point, turn the corner on the season. And it's early still. It's the third conference game.
Dude, I know they just won 3 straight games by 10+, one of those being on the road at Gonzaga. I don't know that it's time to start panicking because of a 3-point win on the road in conference against the San Jose State team, who Dutch said after the game, and I'm going to trust him because it's Brian Dutcher, they're going to knock off one of these top teams in the Mountain West when they're at home this season.
Yeah, I don't know if it's time to panic, but I do see the comparison that Rich is making here with that Eagles team, because it was that way where, they came off of a fantastic season. They were at the big dance. The following year, you have super high expectations, and it's been rough. It's been a tough go. And then they went into the slide towards the end of the season, and now we'll find out what happens here as they go into the playoffs. Now, the Aztecs last year made this improbable run, and they struggled. They struggled in the regular season last year. They struggled in conference play last year. So going into March Madness, into the tournament, it was fun to watch because it wasn't really supposed to happen. Now I feel like even though we try to tamper expectations, we still are expecting them to come out and win. Now, you're right, Rich. Not a great win here, but still better than a loss.
Oh, yeah. Well, obviously.
I'm very confused by what's being said this morning, because struggling in the conference schedule last year, they won the regular season championship. They won the Mountain West tournament championship a year ago, and then they went on their run in March. Struggles with last year, yes, they happened in the non-conference schedule. When they got to conference, for large part, they ran through it.
I'm not saying anything about last season. I know you're commenting on what TD just said. I'm commenting on what I'm seeing this year.
13-2.
What I've seen this year is 13-2, just like the 10-1 Philadelphia Eagles with some close wins. Look, I mean, there's a lot of people who like to shine shoes, and trust me, I get it, I understand it, but we can also just call it what it is. Some of these games, like against UC Irvine, that was a 1-point victory. Mm. That's a team right now who is hot, just like the Aztecs are record-wise. And I'm sure they're probably higher in the rankings, but there's going to be a point where we start looking at some of these close wins potentially, and we say, oh, maybe the writing was on the wall. I hope that's not the case, but it's the first name, like free word association. It's the first name that popped into my head after watching that game. I'm like, oh boy, they are playing with fire. And I felt that way about the Philadelphia Eagles all season long. It's early. And I also acknowledge that it is their third conference game, and they are 3-0 in conference. So I'm not worried about the Aztecs, but I'm saying there are some of these, like, I don't know, there's just a little bit of spice on this that it kind of, when you have this meal, you're like, whew, there's something else going on here.
Double-digit win at Gonzaga, man. I feel like the issues that they had in the non-conference schedule with close games, in large part, are behind them at this point. Winning against San Jose State on the road, it was always going to be a tough matchup. Maybe not as tough as this, but it was always going to be tough.
Well, where I was headed there was, I do agree with Rich that you need to find the way to make it kind of a get right in the season here, because the games that you're supposed to win big, you need to win big.
That's all I'm saying, is you would like to see like a 10-point victory rolling into what you know is going to be a really difficult road environment against a very good team in New Mexico coming up here on Saturday. You're going to hear all that action right here on San Diego Sports 760, as you always do, the home of the Aztecs. Coming up next, we got to talk to Omar Kelly, covers the Dolphins out there in South Beach, another playoff city that we got to go to. But before we scram, want to talk to you about my dentist, Dr. Jordan Colby over at Ocean View Dental. If you want to check out all of the things available at his dentist's office, oceanviewdental.com. They got a place in Oceanside, a place in Fallbrook as well. I take the trek up to Oceanside because this is the best dentist I've ever had. I'm going to repeat that. The best dentist I've ever had. So I had massive amounts of dental work that needed to be done. I needed a tooth extracted. I needed 3 implants to be put in. I was nervous about it. I was told by my former dentist it was going to take 18 months. Dr. Jordan Colby did it in 3 months. I didn't have to leave his office once. Once I had my first consultation with him, and he sat down and he showed me the whole plan, and he showed me what everything would entail. He showed me the timeline of events. It from start to finish. He didn't lie to me once. I didn't have to do any imaging elsewhere. I didn't have to go to a special, specialist outside. He's the specialist. He is the guy. He's a dentist, but also does all these. He's an oral surgeon, and so everything happens in house. It was incredible. They have top of the line dental technology. They got the digital X-rays, the 3D CT imaging, the lasers, the Invisalign, the veneers. They've got it all. Oceanviewdental.net. And it's now my family dentist, right? So if anybody needs a teeth cleaning, anybody has upcoming appointments to have things looked at, we go to Dr. Jordan Colby. So you should trust him with your family as well. Again, oceanviewdental.net. That's oceanviewdental.net.
We got to head out to Miami. Omar Kelly covers the Dolphins. He'll join us next.
This update is presented by Jackson Hewitt Tax Services, home of the Money Today guarantee. Starting off with Aztecs hoops, the boys get a win last night at San Jose State, 81-78. Jaden Ledee pours in 31 points in the win. Transfer Jay Powell hit a huge three down the stretch and sealed the game with a block on the Spartans with 4 seconds left. Big game Saturday. Aztecs stay on the road. They got New Mexico at the Pit at 11 a.m. In the NFL, Titans have fired their head coach Mike Vrabel after 6 seasons. And as the regular season ends, the numbers have been run. 17.9 average million viewers in the NFL. That's the highest since 2015. Can't wait weeks for your tax refund? Then don't. At Jackson Hewitt, get money today if you're approved for a no-fee refund advance loan on a prepaid card. Book today at jacksonhewitt.com. No-fee refund advance offered to eligible clients. Application required. Loans by Republic Bank. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. It's San Diego Sports 760. We do have a pair of tickets to go see Def Leppard and Journey at Petco Park on August 30th. Tickets and info at livenation.com, or just keep listening here for your chance to win. We're giving those away. Also, our friends at Sombrero Mexican Food going to be joining us here. And they might have a little gift that we can give away as well.
Yeah. So be sticking around for that, because we're big fans of Sombrero's Mexican Food, serving San Diego-style Mexican food for over 40 years. Okay, joining us in just a moment, Omar Kelly, awesome writer, reporter, podcaster, covers the Dolphins down there in South Beach. Dolphins have a huge one on the road. They're going to face the Kansas City Chiefs. Really curious about a lot of things. First and foremost, the health of this team, but maybe if that's 1A, then 1B is going to be the fact that this team is facing a team that's already beat them on a neutral field earlier this season. And down the stretch, the Dolphins look good in some spots, but against the better teams they face, they seem to falter. So I don't know. What level of trust or faith do you have in the Dolphins in the postseason right now?
Man, I guess I'm not as much as I should. I'm about 50-50 on this game right now. In fact, I'm maybe leaning towards the Chiefs. I think the Dolphins have a better team this year.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a better offense, at least. I know the Chiefs defense kind of carried them through a lot of the year here, but Patrick Mahomes, man, I just, it's hard to bet against this guy. He goes out there, he makes plays, he makes wins happen. As far as the Dolphins go, watching them against the Bills, they couldn't get anything going that second half.
Nothing.
And if that carries over, especially with bad weather out in Kansas City, I think it's going to be a very, very long day for the Dolphins.
I agree with you. And that's the other thing that you have to remember when you talk about playoff time, Arrowhead Stadium, the reason why the Chiefs have had such a distinct advantage in the postseason, not just because they're a great team, and they are, and they have been over the past half decade, but also because playing in those conditions, especially with a lot of teams playing indoor stadiums now, that's difficult. Like, because the Kansas City Chiefs, their kicking game, they're used to playing in the wind and the cold, and these receivers, they're used to catching balls in the wind and the cold, outdoor venue, especially primetime games, which the majority of Kansas City's games have been primetime evening games at Arrowhead. So it's going to be a raucous, loud environment for this team, again, who have lost to or I should say for the Miami Dolphins, who lost to the Kansas City Chiefs previously in the season. Okay, joining us right now, as mentioned, podcaster, writer, reporter, covers the Dolphins as good as anybody I've read or heard from. Omar Kelly joining the show. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch here on this Wednesday morning. How you doing, Omar?
I'm good. How you gentlemen doing today?
Really
it's
good.
Sunny. It's sunny down here. I'm enjoying the weather, enjoying life.
Avoiding 10-foot-tall aliens, we hope.
Yeah, I'm actually a believer. So if too many, I don't know if one in this day and age, people would say, well, how come they didn't get video of it if everybody saw these aliens? And I will tell you that I had an experience once at the Super Bowl where I was basically at an entry point where Beyonce and Jay-Z were coming in.
Yeah.
And wouldn't you know, my phone would not work when Beyonce was in my presence. And think about this. Let me ask you this. How many times have you seen just cameo videos or pictures of Beyonce anywhere?
Oh my
God. It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Wait a second.
Wait, hold on.
Wait a second.
Beyonce's an alien.
Well, yeah, that's what you're saying. Beyonce's not of this earth.
Well, that is a very, very valid point as well. But I think that there is some mechanism that people had. There was absolutely a jammer, and it wasn't just me. It was like literally 4 other people. None of our phones would work while Beyonce was passing us.
Well, listen, Omar, actually, you raised a very interesting point. That technology does exist, and we know that because, like, you know how wherever the president goes, it doesn't matter what president we're talking about, Biden, Trump, Barack Obama, whoever, Clinton, when they're driving in their motorcade, there's a car that actually has an electronic blocker so that if there is an IED in the road, it blocks the signal that can go to the IED so that you can't take out the lead car and then all of a sudden he's stuck in an explosion, right? So we know that technology exists. And if you're telling me that a billionaire Beyonce plus her billionaire husband Jay-Z can't afford that technology, I think you would be mistaken. So yeah, listen, that is an interesting point. Omar Kelly, I did not expect to go this far down the rabbit hole, but here we are.
Oh, I'm a conspiracy theory guy, and we could go deeper into this rabbit hole. I'm telling you.
Well, then tell me about this conspiracy theory, Omar.
I have a picture of Jay-Z. I have a picture of Blue Ivy. Why don't I have a picture of Beyonce?
Exactly.
Right, because she's an alien. Now, Omar, I'm highly contested on this show, but Travis Dale, who's sitting here, does not like Beyonce. Does that make him an alien also?
That makes him somebody who should be banished from America.
I know. Yeah.
We say the same thing.
She has the voice of an angel. Even if she has been sent from the heavens above, from other planets, I don't care. How does the sultry, I guess you would, what would she be, a soprano? How could that voice not just warm the cockles of your heart?
I think that she can sing most of the time. I think that she cannot dance. I think that she cannot write music.
But she can gyrate.
She can do that, which she scores very high points.
Listen, all you got to do is you got to go to a concert. I will say this. I'm not even the biggest Beyonce fan, but I've seen her in concert a couple of times, dating women, that kind of thing. And she is probably by far the greatest entertainer and puts on the best show that I've seen.
Wow. Have you ever seen Michael Bublé?
We saw him at Pechanga Arena. He tore the house down.
That sounds like a joke. I'm not kidding. He's absolutely amazing.
Right now, a lot of 40-plus-year-old women in the house, not a dry seat. Anyways, look, here's the point. Omar Kelly joining us this morning, covers the Dolphins. Another guy who's an alien is Tyreek Hill. And he's had one of those seasons where, it looked like it was heading towards record-breaking territory. Obviously, the injury slowed things down. So I look at this offense and I say, no problems outside some of the injury concerns. I look at this defense and I say, you know what? Actually, better than expected season there. But I look at the Chiefs and I think Arrowhead on the road, Dolphins postseason cold game. This feels like a tough putt for Miami.
Oh yeah, it's going to be no easy feat to achieve. One, it's on the road. Two, the elements are supposed to be ridiculous. And I'm sorry, I'm a South Floridian, and I know not every guy is from South Florida that's on the Miami Dolphins team. But once you have that cold weather in your bloodstream, it's in your bloodstream. Warm weather in your bloodstream, it's in your bloodstream. Then on top of that, just the rash of injuries. The average fan is not going to know what Miami is going through, but all 4 of their top weapons are either injured or sidelined, from Raheem Mostert to Jalen Waddle to Tyreek Hill to Devon Achane. They're all playing with something or been held out by something. That's your top 4 weapons. How good of a team would you be if your top 4 weapons are all battling something? They've had 12 different offensive line combinations. Wow. Now, they played well with those 12 different offensive line combinations, but, that's been a challenge in itself. Now they finally got Robert Hunt back, so that's a step in the right direction. And then defensively, not only are both your starting safeties injured and trying to play through these injuries, but you lost Xavier Howard to a foot injury. And then on top of that, you lost every one of your pass rushers except for Melvin Ingram, who was on your practice squad, and Emmanuel Agba. Like, you literally lost 3 linebackers in last Sunday's game lost to the Bills, which includes your starting inside linebacker, Jerome Baker, who you finally got back after he spent a month on IR rehabbing an MCL injury. So it is absolutely going to be a Herculean effort for this Dolphins team. I mean, Kansas City will basically have to gift wrap them the game with a 3 turnover performance, maybe a defensive score, or Tyreek is just going to have to light Kansas City on fire to actually help the Dolphins pull this out. But it will take a Herculean effort. I just don't know if the Dolphins have it in them.
Omar, Rich just asked us here what our trust factor was in the Dolphins. I was going to ask you the same thing, but it sounds like it's not real high.
No, I mean you can only overcome so much from one team. I mean, literally, you're going to have a guy, your edge rushers, which is arguably probably maybe the third most important spot in football. Your edge rushers are going to be Emmanuel Agba, a guy who you absolutely have hated on all season if you're Vic Fangio. Even though he's got 5 sacks on the year, he played like 240 snaps. And Melvin Ingram, a guy who signed probably a month ago and just got elevated from your practice squad today. Those are your pass rushers, and then the 3 guys that you signed today. You signed yesterday in Houston and Justin Houston and Bruce Irving and Malik Reed, who have all been cut by various NFL teams this year. So that's it. That's what you got to offer. So, and that's what you got to offer against Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, it is. It is a tough putt. That's the way I keep thinking of it. It's like, sometimes, you chip onto the green and you're 3 feet out and you roll it in. But this one, you're in the fringe, you're 40 feet away. The best you could do is really get it close. Hey, Omar, awesome stuff as always. The truth is out there. We'll talk real soon, buddy.
All right, talk to you later.
There he goes, Omar Kelly. You got to check him out at Omar Kelly on X. Does a great job covering the Dolphins. But Fletch, I got to tell you, man, you're looking good today.
I appreciate that, Rich. And it was about 6 months ago now that the fateful day happened in Long Beach, California, which I'll actually be returning to this weekend because my wife wants to go to Disneyland and whatever. That's been hashed. What hasn't been hashed is that 6 months ago, a 4-year-old broke me. Her name is Tegan. She's sweet. She's small. But one time we were sitting on the couch and she poked my belly and said, "Look at that big belly." And I got to tell you guys, that's the one that did it for me. That was the straw that broke the fat camel's back. And then I found sdfatloss.com. And guess what? When I see that little 5-year-old now, Tegan, this weekend, I'm just going to say, look at this belly.
Oh,
not so big anymore.
Thought you were going to punch her or something.
No.
And then the whole family's going to be like, Ben, put your shirt back on. What are you doing?
But that's the thing. Like, if you're sitting around today and your kids have been making fun of you about your weight and you want to get in control of it, get on over to sdfatloss.com. They'll give you a free consultation and they will teach you how you can lose weight super, super quickly, which is exactly what the 3 of us did because we did the yo-yo diets. Travis was trying to get the fad medications and it didn't work. It all led to temporarily suppressing your hunger. Then as soon as you got off the drug or the diet, your frustration and your weight, it comes right back to haunt you. I'm sure you've been down that road too. So sdfatloss.com is where you need to go. Get a free consultation today. Talk to Wayne and Chloe, who've been our team and has led to tremendous results. sdfatloss.com.
Coming up next, we have a super freak. Oh, are we going to play a little Beyonce on the way out? Oh, I like this. I thought we were going to commercial. We got a super freak. We got a closet freak. And we got a guy who likes to pee on feet. That's next. You know, we used to think the freaks come out at night. They don't. They come out in the NFL postseason. They come out during the NBA regular season, and they just out. We'll get to that next. Hey, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you here this morning. Big show today. We are going to bounce around NFL city to NFL city. We've got Cleveland coming up next in the 7 o'clock hour, and then we'll head out to Pittsburgh. Both the Browns and the Steelers out of AFC North made the postseason, as did the Ravens. They're resting this weekend, so we'll get to them in the divisional round. But listen to this. If your wife jumps on a podcast, I don't know if you want her to be so forthcoming, but that's exactly what happened with.
Oh, dude, this is national TV.
Oh, it was national. Oh, I thought she was on a podcast.
This is on one of those morning weird
morning talk shows,
lady shows.
Okay,
Oh,
so
okay. The View.
It's called The Real.
The Real.
The Real.
Ayesha Curry on The Real. Steph Curry's wife. Give this a listen. Okie dokie. So listen, I don't want anybody to lose their minds over this, because apparently there is a physiological reason why there are people with foot fetishes. Do either of you guys like feet?
No, I mean,
Not more than any other body part.
No. I mean,
Wait,
I'm not. Wait, hold on.
Oh, wait.
It ranks the same as other body parts.
No, I'm saying like feet or feet.
Have either of you ever had a foot or toes in your mouth?
No.
Okay, I have. I don't like it.
Okay. All right. Okay. Like if you said send pics
Yeah.
or nudes or whatever,
I'm
and
telling-
feet come across, you're not overly excited.
Wait.
Yeah.
You've had a toe in your mouth in like a sexual situation?
Yeah, I'm
Or like your
I'm-
kid kicked
your
you in your
own toe?
face and one slipped in.
my own toe. Yeah,
Like
it was
a baby.
It was requested of me more than once. I tried it twice. Never really not interested. This is pre-Annie. This is when Rich was a wild boy. But I'll tell you right now, it's not for everyone, but it is for certain people. And so back to the physiological explanation. They say that right next to like whatever it is that controls blood flow to certain regions. You know what I'm saying? Like that wiring, that neural mapping is right next to the nerves that go to your feet. And so there's a lot of scientists.
Okay.
If you look into this, there's a lot of scientists who believe that somehow the synapses or the neural connections, they come whole. And there's a Freudian.
There's a wire touching in there.
There's a wire touching. They think so physiologically as possible. There's a Freudian explanation for people who believe more in the psychological viewpoint of it.
All right, text us 70470. Start your message with team. If you have a foot fetish, we want to hear from you.
We want to hear from you.
Pics.
It's anonymous. You can just text us.
Look, and I'm telling you, this is coming from somebody who has been requested to have it to try it, and it's not for me. But it is for. Look, I know plenty of guys who talk about
I
feet.
think of somebody just jamming their foot kind of in your mouth.
Well, there's girls online now who are making like 10 grand a month for just sending pictures of their feet to people.
Websites dedicated to this. Speaking of
just women, though.
Well, no, not just women.
I mean, could
sign up.
I might see what happens.
10 grand a month is no joke.
20 hours ago, in the middle of the afternoon, Antonio Brown, former receiver in the NFL, the level of horniness across sports right now is at an all-time high. So Aisha Curry comes on and goes, yes, Steph, my husband, who plays for the Warriors and has won 4 championships, loves feet. Then Antonio Brown, he tweets this out, and he's pinned it now to his Twitter profile.
It's one of my favorite tweets ever.
It's pinned severely emotionally. Then he has a big space, unhinged, big space. My brain is crippled, big space, by horniness. What?
Wow. Wait. Is that really the next ad read?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Perfect segue into talking to everybody out there about your testosterone levels. Listen, if you haven't been checked yet, and you're a gentleman who's north of 35 years old, what are you waiting for? So, okay, I'm 37, full disclosure. I went to Golden Triangle Plastic Surgery, the Man Zone. That's what they call it, the Man Zone, double board certified plastic surgeon, Dr. Roy David. He helped me through this process over at the Man Zone. You go in there, you get your T levels checked. They send you your results. There's a range, right? For a guy my age, in the late 30s, it's 300 to 1,000. They want you to fall somewhere in that average. I was like 352 or something, like low end of average. And I didn't want to be. I realized, like, if I ever go into a gym or I'm, trying to get a workout in at home, or I'm playing in the yards with the kids, doing anything physical, I want to be able to sustain. I want to be able to feel strong. I want to feel enthusiastic about my exercise. And I wasn't. I really honestly wasn't. And it stinks. It stinks because you feel like, oh, well, something maybe is wrong with me. Well, maybe something is. Maybe it's testosterone. And I'm telling you, this is one of those advancements recently that there's a tremendous amount of research behind. It's safe, but most importantly, it's effective. It's extremely effective. Over at the Man Zone, they've had incredible results with a lot of their clients. But for me personally, I can talk about myself. I'm telling you, this is a life changer. It is a game changer. So if you're in your 40s, 50s, or 60s, this is a no-brainer. Call right now. Set up your first appointment over at themanzone.com. That's themanzone.com. And if you're one of those people who's nervous about this, you want to be a little discreet, trust me, this is in a business park, really discreet opening. You go in there, the lobby's great. You have ESPN on the big screen. You have a, beer out of the beer fridge, maybe a little tipple of bourbon while you're waiting for your results. Like it's really cool over there. So themanzone.com is where you book your appointment. Don't wait until you're in your 40s, 50s, or 60s. Like I said, if you're 35 or older, it's time to check out themanzone.com. Coming up next, we have so much to get to. More feet.
For the rest of the show.
NFL Factor Fiction, and also we head out to Cleveland to get an update on the Browns.
It's hour 2 on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. This update presented by Jackson Hewitt Tax Services, home of the Money Today guarantee. We are going to start off here with Aztecs hoops. The boys get a win last night at San Jose State, 81-78. Jaden Ledee pouring in 31 points in the win. Transfer Jay Powell hits a huge three down the stretch, and he in the game with a block on the Spartans with 4 seconds left. Big game on Saturday. Aztecs staying on the road to take on New Mexico at the Pit at 11 a.m. Saturday. Also college basketball, number 1 and number 2, both losing yesterday, Purdue and Houston, respectively. In the NFL, Titans have fired head coach Mike Vrabel, and as the regular season ends, we get the numbers. 18 million viewers average throughout the regular season. That's the highest since 2015. Can't wait weeks for your tax refund? Then don't. At Jackson Hewitt, get money today if you're approved for a no-fee refund advance loan on a prepaid card. Book today at jacksonhewitt.com. No-fee refund advanced offered to eligible clients. Application required. Loans by Republic Bank. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Yeah! Woo! Happy Wednesday to those who celebrate. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you on this hump day.
Mike.
And
Wait, is it hump day?
Actually,
It
is it? It is. It's Wednesday already. Oh, man. I've been saying that all morning long. I've got big plans today, and they're Wednesday plans.
Right.
And so if it isn't Wednesday, I'm screwed.
Wow.
So anyways, it's a beautiful day. The Aztecs won last night, a close one against a team that they probably needed to beat by more, but didn't hurt them as much as you'd think magically. Fletch brought this up. San Diego State hoops now 14-2. They only dropped one spot in the net rankings.
One spot KenPom, no spots net.
Okay, there you go. One spot KenPom, which anybody who watches college basketball at this point in the season, you are a super freak or a big fan of a team. Like, college basketball doesn't really start getting interesting until like the shoulder month of March Madness.
I disagree.
You're a super duper basketball fan when it comes to college hoops.
Dude, it was January 9th yesterday, and it was one of the better days of college basketball I could remember in a long, long time.
And I'm telling you, a lot of people haven't even picked up the remote thinking about college basketball yet. And I agree with you. I actually was watching some of these teams that looked unbeatable this season so far falling. It was interesting to see them across the ticker because I was not watching.
So to put it in perspective, Purdue and Houston both lose yesterday. They were ranked number 1, number 2 in the country. They both lose to unranked opponents, but their conference games on the road. Purdue dropped one spot in the net rankings. Houston didn't move at all from their number 1 spot in the net rankings. So when you get into conference play, even if it's an unranked opponent, you're playing on the road. That weighs differently than a non-conference opponent, whether it's on the road or a neutral site or whatever, because conference games get weighted more heavily because these teams know each other so well.
The bright side is it's a win. And the bright side is it didn't do too much damage. Now, games like this can come back and haunt you a little bit depending on how the San Jose State Spartan schedule pans out, like opponents, stuff like that. But it was a win. And a win is a win is a win. And it's always better than a loss. We discussed this earlier in the show. The one team that popped into my mind when I was watching the game last night, I watched that whole game because, like I said, you're either a college basketball freak if you're watching basketball at this time in college, or you're a big fan of San Diego State or whatever your team is, USC, UCLA. I'm watching SDSU struggle here to get the lead in the second half, and I'm like, man, you don't want to become the Philadelphia Eagles. You don't want to become the championship team who lost and played a great game but lost. And then the next season as a follow-up, you're beating bad teams close, and the whole season it feels tenuous. And now how do we feel about the Eagles heading into the tournament here this year, right? The playoff bracket in the NFL, we're nervous for them. So I hope that's not the case for the Aztecs. I hope they start romping and rocking and rolling, and this team gets on a fever pitch here soon. That would be awesome.
The comparison, though, to the Eagles, I never felt like the Eagles were playing even B+ football.
That's a good point.
And I feel like the Aztecs have been on their A game. It's just when you see a game that happens like last night where they have to fight, they struggle a bit to make sure they get that win. It makes you go, wait. We don't want this to go south.
Yeah, I think Dutch put it in really good perspective last night after the game. He was talking to Uncle Teddy, and he said something that stuck out in my mind. Because right after the game, I felt a lot like you guys feel, where it was watching that game like, ooh, Aztecs maybe didn't play their best basketball. Dutch got on afterwards, and he was like, look, San Jose State is going to knock somebody off, whether it's New Mexico, Boise State, one of these top teams in the Mountain West, Colorado State, who lost again yesterday, by the way. They're going to knock somebody off when they have them at San Jose, because if you look at their team, they are able to shoot the three ball better than pretty much everyone else in the conference. And they shoot more threes than pretty much everyone else in the conference. And when you're making threes like they were last night, that all of a sudden evens the playing field, where San Diego State's clearly the better basketball team. But if San Jose State was making threes at that clip, they're going to knock somebody off this year.
We're going to hit a quick halftime here, and then we're going to jump out to Cleveland with Tom Withers. He's a sports writer for the AP out in Cleveland, covers the Browns, who rested everybody week 18. They head into the postseason as the first wild card. They're going to face the Houston Texans on the road, the division winner in the AFC South. But first, this. Okay, you go.
We were just talking about it, but the Aztecs took down San Jose State yesterday evening, 81-78. Aztecs improved to 14-2 on the season. In the NFL, Titans fire head coach Mike Vrabel after a second straight season out of the playoffs. And we'll quickly move on to the NBA. The Lakers falconed the Raptors 132-131. The Knicks paddywhacked the Trailblazers 112-84.
Oh, God.
The Timberwolves carpet rided the Magic 113-92. The Grizzlies, Mel Gibson as Brett the Mavericks 120-103.
No, that one. Wow.
What? How about this one? This is a good one right here. You'll like this one. The Kings don't have a pot to Pistons 131-110.
Redeemed.
I don't even know who won.
Me neither. I don't care.
The Kings won.
Okay.
Yeah, the Kings won. And some very sad news. It was actually December 30th. Caddyshack's Lacey Underall, Cindy Morgan, passed away at the very appropriate age of 69.
Okay, well, okay. Nice. All right. Look, moving right along, we have to check in with every single playoff city, easy for me to say, across the NFL before we get to Super Wildcard Weekend, and that includes Cleveland, because the Browns are in, even though they have a quarterback who naps after halftime on the sideline when he feels like his work is done. Joe Flacco finished out the season on fire for the Browns. So we welcome in Tom Withers. He writes for the AP out in Cleveland. Tom, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. How about you guys?
We are loving life right now because we're about 15 minutes away from breakfast burritos from Sombreros Mexican food. They're about to do a food drop here, Tom. How do you feel about breakfast burritos overall?
Strong. Yeah, very solid.
Good.
I'm actually making my third cup of coffee, so that shows you how my morning's going.
Yeah, we're on our second over here. The breakfast burrito's inbound. Quick question. When you make a breakfast burrito or you order one, what meat do you choose? Is it sausage? Is it bacon? Is it chorizo?
Check, and check.
Okay,
I'll agree.
You know what?
I like Tom a lot. Yeah.
Jeez. Where'd you go to college, Tom? Did you go to college?
I went to Ohio State.
Okay, they call it the Harvard of the Midwest.
Sorry about Michigan.
Yeah. I knew you were a smart guy. Big Ten guy. I went to Penn State. We got those state educations. Really good.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Tom, so these Browns, man, they're going on the road. And I really do feel like this offense kind of got maybe the advanced placement course with Joe Flacco coming off the couch and really sort of steadying the ship. Amari Cooper looks more comfortable with him than any of the quarterbacks who have thrown to him so far this season. Same thing with David Njoku, who has had a breakout year for Cleveland. What is the level of confidence this team has rolling into the Super Wildcard Weekend?
I couldn't imagine it being any higher, to be quite honest. Joe Flacco has completely changed the way this team is playing. He's changed the way this town feels about this team. This has been needless to say, a year of adversity, with the Browns losing Nick Chubb in week 2, and they had huge plans for their all-pro running back. They were going to probably use him like he's never been used before because they felt like in Deshaun Watson, they finally had the franchise quarterback in place to make all those things click. And then we've had, one injury after the other. The Browns are down to their third and fourth tackles, across the board. You guys are well aware of Deshaun Watson going down with a shoulder injury. So, yeah, since Joe Flacco's arrival in late November, and like you said, coming off his couch in New Jersey and, making scrambled eggs for his kids and shuttling them to and from school to suddenly being in front of a team that, not only believes in him, but believes this team can go a long way. On Monday, Coach Stefanski had Flacco as one of there's like 4 or 5 players on this team that have been to the Super Bowl, and a handful of coaches, speak to the team about what it takes to not only get past the Texans, but to make a legitimate run. And I feel like the Browns feel like they're well positioned to go deep into these playoffs.
Hey, Tom, when you say that the way the town has felt about the team with Joe Flacco leading it, to be completely honest, out here in California, when we're looking at Deshaun Watson and the Browns, it kind of left a black cloud over the team. And that was kind of the feeling out here, at least for me. Does it feel like that has lifted out there in Cleveland with Flacco now at the helm?
Yeah, to a degree, and I see your point. It's been kind of an awkward, forced marriage from the start, and we're all well aware of, the allegations made against Deshaun down in Houston and the 11-game suspension last year, and then dealing with a shoulder injury that basically, it covered the course of about 8 games between him starting, not starting, coming out, being put on the side, getting hurt in a game, coming out, then eventually having the shoulder surgery. So yeah, it just hasn't happened, for a number of reasons. And, unfortunately for Deshaun, he started to finally shake off some of that rust that we've talked about and, had played really well in that comeback in Baltimore, only to find out that he had broken his shoulder in the first half and played the second half with it. So, yeah, it's just been, it just hasn't worked for whatever reason. That's not to say that it won't going forward, but, with every win that Joe Flacco puts on his resume, the situation gets more and more awkward here. And people really, they don't want to talk about that or think about that right now because they're just enjoying this kind of, this unbelievable ride with Flacco.
Tom, something is happening in Cleveland here that I don't know has happened in my entire lifetime. I'm 27 years old, but when you look at the Cleveland Browns this year, especially since Joe Flacco took over, they are likable, which I can't remember a time in my past that's actually happened. Is there a team that you can remember that is as likable as this Cleveland Browns fan that has the national support behind them?
No, that's a very good point. We've seen these kind of storybook Cinderella type rides that have happened in other sports. The teams that catch fire for whatever reason, whether it's the addition of a veteran or a player getting hot or a pitcher getting hot or a goalie getting hot. Name your sport. But yeah, they've become incredibly likable here. I think what has really galvanized the team and the town is what I mentioned before, is just all this adversity. They've really shown a resilience that is so likable and is almost Disney-esque, if you will. And the scene after the playoff clinching win against the New York Jets a couple weeks ago, where Flacco was down on the field with his kids, and there's still thousands of fans in the stands chanting his name. And and the other thing I'll say about this team is they've got a bunch of really good guys. I mean, they've got some real high character people in that locker room. You mentioned Amari Cooper before. I'll throw Joel Bitonio's name out there, a guy that we in the media here have given the media good guy award to. We could give it to him every year, but we kind of try to spread it around just to be nice to his teammates. But he's one of those kinds of guys. Myles Garrett is a very likable guy. After he got past that Mason Rudolph situation a few years ago, he's really immersed himself into this community and become, just an upstanding citizen and a guy that people really like to get behind.
Tom Withers joining us at TWithersAP on Twitter. I suggest you follow him for all your Cleveland Browns needs. You do a great job covering this team. I want to ask you about the coach. Kevin Stefanski, Coach of the Year candidate for sure in my eyes. I look at what the Browns have done, and I mean, if you want to include the last starting quarterback, 6 starting quarterbacks over the course of the season, Jeff Driscoll sneaking in there at the wire.
Right.
It speaks to the perseverance in a very crowded, conference, but also in a very crowded division and a talented division to get the job done. I mean, Stefanski, he's figured this out, and it feels like he's got a long future ahead in Cleveland.
Yeah, everybody's trying to figure out when they're going to give him the extension because you got to figure one's coming. I mean, this guy in the short course of 4 years has taken this team that had been to the playoffs just one time since its 1999 expansion rebirth to the playoffs twice now in 4 years. And, you just mentioned before everything they've overcome this year. And, I'll get back to the X's and O's for a second. This is the kind of offense with Flacco that Kevin is best suited for. This is what he was familiar with during his time in Minnesota. He likes that traditional, drop back passer, a player able to, kind of read the field and let plays breathe, if you will. And at 6'6", and with all the experience that Joe Flacco has, he allows guys to get deeper into their routes. He sees the field. And the other thing about Joe Flacco at this point that's helping Kevin out too is that Joe Flacco is kind of playing with house money. What's he got to lose? He's really carefree out there. He's got his Super Bowl ring. He's got 40,000, plus passing yards. He's got all the money that he needs. He's got a wonderful family. He missed the game a lot. So it was kind of a perfect situation for him to come in here. And he has really clicked with Kevin. There's been a, joke around here. Are they relatives or not? Because they very much do look alike and they are from the same kind of suburban area outside of Philadelphia, but they're very like-minded, real family guys, whose fathers were good athletes. Kevin's dad has been an NBA executive for years. And Stefanski really has done a great job. There's been, a kind of a roller coaster with him as well in terms of the fan base here. People were always criticizing him for the play calling, and there have been some head scratchers along the way. But to consider again what this team has overcome this year is really a credit to not only Kevin but his entire coaching staff.
Tom, we appreciate the time. This is going to be probably the most exciting matchup of this postseason, at least in this round. I'm most looking forward to seeing C.J. Stroud, Joe Flacco. I've been so impressed with him. These guys, I mean, it really felt like two teams I was a little bit ahead of the curve on were the Bills and the Browns. I said, don't you sleep on Joe Flacco. Don't you sleep on Joe Flacco.
He did say that, Tom. He did say that.
And
called him elite several hundred times.
Like you were joking.
No, I was never joking, and nobody believed me. They thought I was being sarcastic. Hey, enjoy the run. It's been fun watching from afar, and we'll catch up soon.
Sounds good. Enjoy the burritos.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, we're looking forward to that too. Sombreros Mexican Food is going to be delivering burritos in T-minus 9 minutes.
Wow. So do you go bacon, sausage, or chorizo?
Well, I think he had the right answer. All three is correct.
But isn't chorizo like a spicy sausage?
It's a spicy sausage, but it's kind of in, you know what I mean by breakfast sausage versus chorizo, though. There's the whole different flavor profile.
Breakfast sausages are almost sweet.
Speaking of sausages, Chad Ochocinco has a really interesting homeopathic method curing ankle injuries. Okay, so he's shared this multiple times. In fact, when he was a teammate of mine, he talked about how every time he showers, he pees on his feet. Every single time he showers, he pees on his feet. I was like, why would you do that? Because we're in a big group discussion. There were a couple of people who were as confused as I was. And he said, oh, no, it helps him heal. And I'm like, yeah, that's not.
It helps them heal from what?
Well, here's Chad Ochocinco having a conversation about this recently. Give it a listen.
Good God. I'm going to guess that doesn't work. Oh, wait, there's more.
Oh, yeah. Shannon Sharp goes, I'm going to miss that game.
So this isn't the first time Ochocinco. In fact, he's told the story like exactly the same way a few years ago.
I am telling you, I am not joking when I tell you this. This is something that he discussed openly when he was with the New England Patriots for a season.
It's a weird flex.
Oh, yeah.
To brag about it.
That doesn't do anything.
And what does urine do?
Nothing. Hold on. Now, some people say it will cure athlete's foot. I remember Madonna at one point said she pees on her own feet while she's in the shower. However, science has looked at your urine and said it would have to have, I don't know what the chemical,
Hang on.
urea.
I'm
It
gonna
would have to have such ungodly high levels.
I'm going to stop you there for a second. Just to, could one of our lady listeners, 70470, start your message with team 70470.
Don't want them to call us?
Start the message with team, or you could call at 877-767-4760. Good luck. But you could call or text. I want to know if that's even possible. Like
To pee on your own feet?
yeah, dude, can you aim it?
That's true.
I mean, think about
That's
it.
true.
Like, I have no idea how that works. I have no idea how that works. Like, is there like, because for a guy, when you pee on your, I mean, I could tell me the toe. I'm a marksman.
Oh, I mean, look, we can write your name in cursive in the snow.
Actually, to be perfectly honest with you, I can write mine in normal lowercase.
Well, thank you to the roadies, the dogs,
You
the
can start
hangers, the
stop.
bangers. This
Yeah.
may be the last Big Rich TD and Fletch show.
That many times?
No, yeah, absolutely, dude. Yeah.
Like-
You have control of the squeeze valve.
Okay.
I'm just saying. Okay, look, the point I'm trying to make is we're getting too far away.
Too far.
Ocho
Weird,
Cinco,
no one's called.
when Ocho Cinco played for the Patriots, he talked about this openly and tried to recruit people to either give him their urine
I mean, has
or
the man never heard of Epsom salt?
well, and that was the point I was going to arrive at also. Epsom salts work. So what about the salts in your urine? How about that? Oh, 619 dialing
Let's
in.
get it. Let's get it.
Answer that phone
Come
call.
on. Come on.
We might have somebody help
Yeah.
us here. So 619 dialing in,
Wait.
asked a very important question.
Ben did not go straight to the air. What? No one there? Oh,
No one there.
Okay.
I thought we were going to get to go, hello, Miss Lady.
Yeah, we need your help. We do need help. We need help in a big way. Coming up next, a big show today. Sombrero's Mexican food is coming in. They're going to supply us with breakfast burritos.
Right. What's great is, though,
Yeah, go ahead.
what's great is, as we've been losing weight here, you can still have some of your favorite food.
That's true. We're on this like 80-20 rule right now, which is really cool. What I mean by that is 80% of the time we are eating foods that fit a healthy lifestyle and we're staying on the maintenance phase. For me and TD, Fletch is back on the reduction phase with sdfatloss.com. This is one of the I don't even want to say the most amazing diet plans because that's not what it is. Lifestyle changes that the three of us have ever made in our lives. We've talked about this off the air in our group text, but also when we're around each other. And it's amazing how much better we feel. I've lost over 35. TD's lost 30. Fletch over here is down close to 50 pounds on sdfatloss.com.
Crazy.
Another one of our listeners, he reached out to me on Instagram. He started with he and his wife. He's down 40 pounds. His initial goal was to lose 20. I mean, so he's doubled up his goal.
If Fletch has lost the most weight
Yes.
on the show, does that make him the skinniest now?
Yes.
I would say he's the skinniest. Does that mean he was the fattest?
Also true.
Yeah.
Also maybe. So Fletch went from the fattest, like he was so fat. He was so fat. Like,
It was
honestly,
it was so
you know what?
bad.
It was sad. It was like you took like
All right,
one
let's
of those.
just lay it all out on the table.
Wait, hang on.
What does everyone weigh now? I'm
What?
230 pounds exact.
I weighed 270. I weighed myself yesterday.
What?
High five.
Hey, how about that? I'm 256.
Yeah,
High five.
High five. High
See,
five.
it's all degrees of success. It's not fatter or skinnier.
Whoa.
It's degrees of success.
No, I
Wow.
was about to give you a major compliment.
it
this
didn't
guy-
sound like it.
This guy, you said we had to wheelbarrow him around this station.
Yeah,
it was wild.
It was awful. Like, remember, he'd go like 5 or 6 steps and he'd have to sit there, hands on his knees.
Yeah,
That is true. We all watched the Hardwooded Balls Classic.
dude. It
With
was.
program director Brian Long, who went, I'm actually concerned about his health.
We thought we killed him. That day, we thought we killed him. I'm like, I fed him his last meal. He had no idea 7-Eleven pizza was going to be the last thing that crosses.
Yeah, because he would not eat the Big Mac you brought him for halftime.
Well, no. And I actually admonished him for that at the moment. But had he eaten that Big Mac, it may have killed him. Anyways, sdfatloss.com has completely course corrected all this nonsense. So now Fletch is down close to 50 pounds. I'm down 30 pounds on the nose this morning. TD's down 30 pounds. It's crazy what it's done for us. It can do it for you too. No more yo-yo dieting. No more going to doctors and say, hey, could you get me a prescription that I can inject myself with and lose all this weight? Because that sounds and seems a little bit dangerous. Okay, so let's do something else. Let's change our lifestyles for the better. sdfatloss.com, sdfatloss.com.
Coming up, we're going to do some NFL fact or fiction and Sombrero's Mexican food stopping by.
This update is presented by Progressive Insurance. We'll begin with Aztecs hoops. The boys get a win last night at San Jose State, 81-78. Jaden Ledee pouring in 31 points in the win. Transfer Jay Powell coming up big down the stretch. He had a huge three, and he sealed the game with a block on the Spartans with 4 seconds left in the game. Big game on Saturday. San Diego State staying on the road. They got New Mexico at the Pit at 11 a.m. Big CBS and San Diego Sports 760. Also in college basketball, number 1 and number 2 go down yesterday, Purdue and Houston respectively. Week 2 of conference play across the country, and there is a big shakeup in the top 25 in the NFL. Titans have fired head coach Mike Vrabel after 6 seasons, and as the regular season ends, the numbers have been run. 2023-2024 for the NFL, average 17.9 million viewers. Progressive Commercial Insurance can protect your small business with over 30 coverage options, an easy-to-use mobile app, personalized discounts, and more. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
Big Rich, Sheedy, and Fletch at San Diego Sports 760. I know we're back. We're doing some technical things over here, Fletch. We do have a pair of tickets to go see Def Leppard and Journey at Petco Park, August 30th. Tickets and info available at livenation.com, or just keep listening for your chance to win. But Fletch, the reason we were taking a little bit of time over here is because we got some celebrities here in studio.
Special guest.
It smells amazing.
Javier is in the building. Sombrero's Mexican food. By the way, I love your whole family. I've met your dad. We've spent a lot of time together. I believe you've brought in the kids once before, but this is the look. I mean, look, family aside, the thing I look forward to the most when you come in is the food. This is and the spread you bring every single time does not disappoint.
Right.
How you doing this morning, Javier?
Good, man. Just doing my thing, serving burritos.
Love it. Now you brought in this array of food in trays, and you have this device that obviously it keeps it hot as you go. I'm just wondering, do you cater to?
Well, you know what? We're thinking about it.
Okay.
We're thinking about it, but we're sort of deciding. But you know what? That would be a good jingle, though.
You're right. Yeah, right. It would be.
Yeah, we might have to work that into the script somewhere along the way. By the way, Sombrero's Mexican Food, they are serving San Diego style Mexican for over 40 years. The rolled tacos are incredible. The salsas, the green and the red, unbelievable. Actually, I see it over there. I'm going to be pouring that in my my breakfast burritos this morning. But
game changer, by the way, was salsas. Because Javier came in and he said, "Look, hey, we got this machine now. We don't have to have the little
way.
It's the same salsa in a little packet, so you don't have the leakers."
I need to bring these home. I have I can't tell you how. Okay, so this is all right. So every time I go to Sombreros, I bring home all the little. They used to be the little cups of the salsa.
We still got them. We're phasing these in.
Okay, I used to ask for like 20 of them. And so and sometimes you drive through, people be like, "Do you really need 20?" I'd be like, "Yes, I do."
Yes, I do.
And sometimes I'd be like, "All right, yeah, no, fill the bag up." And sometimes some of them open on the ride home, or they're banging into things as you're carrying them in. But I would store as many as I could in the refrigerator to hold me over to the next Sombreros. This is amazing. So we got them in these little. It almost looks like soy sauce packets. You know how you would
like a dressing.
Yeah, dressing packet.
Yeah,
Yeah, salsa in the. This is genius. It's a game changer.
Yeah, you know why you need extra though is because you want to put Sombreros salsa in everything. Like if you're making meatloaf at home, just go ahead and pour that in there.
We're going to be doing the breakfast burritos as mentioned, which they have awesome breakfast burritos. If you never have them, it's the egg, potato, cheese, choice of bacon, sausage, or chorizo. We got the cream-filled and strawberry-filled churros, the buñuelos. We got the salsa. Want to ask you really quick, are you a big sports fan?
Yeah, was previously a big Charger fan.
Yeah.
We're not going to go there.
Do you still watch the NFL?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. When you're looking at the postseason with the Ravens being as good as they are and San Francisco 49ers as good as they are, do you think that feels like the Super Bowl matchup? A lot of people are thinking it's going to end up that way with Lamar Jackson.
Want to play some fact or fiction with
maybe
Javier? You want to? It's up to you.
Yeah. Well, it's up to Javier.
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to just ask him about the Ravens and the Niners really quick. Do you think that we're on track for Ravens Niners Super Bowl?
Yeah, but I don't know, man. There's been some crazy stuff this year, so we'll see if there's some kind of Cinderella story. There's been some wild finishes at the end of these games, so I don't know. And I think yes, but I know every week it seems like there's one crazy game that kind of surprises everybody.
Yeah.
What is the best tailgating food? I always, when it comes to Mexican food, I always go with guacamole and chips. But is there something that I'm missing? Is there? I mean, I guess, geez, nachos got to be high on the list too.
But it's easy vessel, a rolled taco.
Yeah. What do you think is the best tailgate food?
Yeah, rolled tacos are easy.
Yeah.
But I mean, back in the day when we used to tailgate, we used to get down there at 9:30. And we'd start with breakfast burritos and then eventually transition to the, grilling up the carne asada and then making the tacos. But so I mean, it's all good, but definitely rolled tacos are easy. Grab and go.
Yeah.
Is there a difference between a rolled taco and a taquito, or is a taquito just a made up word?
I think everyone in San Diego calls them rolled tacos. Everyone outside of San Diego calls them taquitos.
Okay.
I don't mind that. I don't mind being a little different.
It's a little taco.
I like that. What do you have a favorite thing on your menu, or is it like picking between children? Like, is there something like your go-to, or is it impossible?
I eat it almost every day.
Yeah.
But so we have a big menu, but the go-to, honestly, one of the go-tos is a breakfast burrito. I don't eat them all the time, and when I do, I'm like, dang, these are good.
Right.
And then of course, hitting it with the salsa, man. You can't get enough of the salsa.
Do you have a secret menu? There's some fast food chains that you can order off the menu. Is there something that either you order or someone orders that's top notch that we should know about?
Yeah. So we've been doing it on our Instagram. We've been featuring customer hacks.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Talk to me.
Yeah, this is good.
So the one we did this month, we featured somebody. They would order a carne asada burrito or a California burrito, and they would add a chile relleno inside.
Okay,
Jesus.
So that's pretty good.
Wait, when did you say everything you just said? Could you repeat that, but just talk slower?
So basically, adding a chile relleno inside any burrito, you could do that. And then another one that's good is, speaking of the rolled tacos, is the loaded rolled tacos. So you order of rolled taco supreme,
okay,
cheese, lettuce, guacamole, sour cream, everything on it. and then they add carne asada on top of it.
Yeah.
And then they top it off with chipotle sauce.
my God, dude.
Those are like the loaded roll tacos.
So you just earned yourself a new Instagram follower, and now I am scroll. Like, you know what? This is how you know you got a little bit of problem with food. Like, the food is sitting in front of me, and now I'm also looking at your most recent Instagram story post of pulling apart a breakfast burrito.
Dude, is that a? Oh my
that was
God,
a bean and
that's a
cheese.
bean and cheese.
It is the bean and cheese.
And I challenge anyone. We have the best beans around.
Okay,
Go get a bean and cheese burrito. As simple as
check
it
it out.
is. It's
When I am frequenting,
I'm lightheaded right now.
yeah, when I'm going to the Mexican food establishments, I judge them on their bean and cheese. Sombrero, come on,
It's a throwdown. It's a damn throwdown.
Javier, no offense to
top-notch.
these guys here, but the question I think a big one our audience is wondering is the best hangover cure on your menu.
Ooh, it's a very smart question.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna need that.
well, I mean, I don't know if the gringos are gonna like it, but all the Mexicans know menudo.
Oh, yeah.
It cures you right
when,
away.
when you say gringos, you stare directly at us.
I feel like you stared into my soul,
Right.
Javier.
I've never had menudo ever.
No, well,
All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get you hammered,
Okay.
and then the next morning we're gonna serve you up some menudo.
Okay.
It's gonna change your life.
we have a Bar Car Friday coming
Uh-huh.
up, and then we have a TD Menudo Saturday morning coming up. Javier, dude, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for the very generous offerings here this morning. This is unbelievable. And do we have something special for the listeners? We have some gift cards
Oh
to
yeah,
give away?
we got a $50 gift card to give away.
What? Okay, all right.
Wait,
all right.
hang on. Do you want to do it right now or want to hang on to it?
Do I? What?
Save it. We'll give it away in the next segment
Okay,
after we try the burritos.
Okay, we're gonna try the burritos. Next segment, we're gonna give away a $50 gift card to Sombrero's Mexican Food. Again, the best Mexican food around, San Diego style, 40 years in business. On the other side, we're gonna play NFL Factor Fiction. That's next.
And while you guys are getting ready for some NFL Factor Fiction, I want you to go over and download the PrizePicks app and use promo code Fletch. When you do that, you're going to get a $100 first deposit match. Again, prizepicks.com/Fletch, or download the PrizePicks app and use promo code Fletch. $100 immediately into your account if you deposit $100 as well. PrizePicks, it's the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. That's the entire continent, and they are the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. If you haven't done it before, a lot of daily fantasy sports apps will make you play against a bunch of people, not PrizePicks. You're just playing against the numbers. Instead of battling thousands of other players, including the pros and the sharks, you're just picking more or less on 2 to 6 players, stat projections, and you can watch the winnings roll in. I cannot wait for this weekend of NFL football. You got the playoffs, and there's no better way to enjoy it than daily fantasy sports on PrizePicks. Again, head on over to prizepicks.com/Fletch. You're going to get a $100 first deposit match. And my favorite part about PrizePicks, bar none, is the quick withdrawals, because a lot of these apps, they can take a week or 2 weeks to get you your money once you've won. Not PrizePicks. I withdrew on a Sunday after I won a $500 PrizePicks pick'em, and I was able to get the cash out on Monday. Get on over to prizepicks.com/Fletch, prizepicks.com/Fletch.
All right, we're eating breakfast burritos.
So good.
And they are delicious from Sombrero's Mexican Food. We have a $50 gift card to Sombrero's Mexican Food coming up on the other side, and a little NFL fact or fiction that's next. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. We have scarfed down copious amounts of Sombrero's Mexican Food.
Yeah.
This has been one of the best mornings we've had in a long time. And we have a $50 gift card. Yeah, you got to crack that open, wash it all down. We have a $50 gift card to one of our lucky listeners. Don't call right now. We'll give out the number in just a few minutes. And then if you call out a given time, then you're going to win the $50 gift card to Sombrero's Mexican Food. We will give that time during this segment, though. All right, NFL fact or fiction, really quickly. Let's run through this list. I'm going to give you a statement, and I want you to tell me if it's a fact or it's a fiction. We'll start right here.
All right.
All right, the Ravens are the best team left in the AFC. Fact or fiction, TD?
Fact. I don't think there's any team that's that has as much firepower, that is clicking as well. Yeah, fact. I think they're the best team, hands down. And they're the number one seed.
One seed, first round bye. Fletch, what say you?
Logic would tell me fact, but I'm going to say fiction on this one because I do believe that the Ravens will not get out of the AFC. I don't know who's going to beat them, but I could see the Cleveland Browns beating them. I could absolutely see the Kansas City Chiefs if it gets to a point where it's an AFC championship game between the Ravens and the Chiefs. The Chiefs I would take all day. And the Buffalo Bills, I firmly believe right now, are the best team playing football in the AFC.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you. I was going to say the Bills. The Bills are the best team in the AFC, so I'm going to call it fiction. The Ravens are not if the Bills are. Josh Allen is a tested playoff quarterback who actually gets dogged more than Lamar Jackson, oddly, for his playoff performances, even though Lamar Jackson has a worse record. Moving on, the Lions are Super Bowl contenders. We'll start with you this time, Fletch. Fact or fiction?
Fact. I think when you have head coach and quarterback figured out, you have a really good chance of making a Super Bowl. And guess what? The Lions absolutely have it. I have more trust in Dan Campbell than just about any other coach left, including Kyle Shanahan. We'll see what he can do in the postseason, but man, I like this Lions team.
Are they contenders? Fact. Yeah, definitely they are contenders. Now, will they be there? I'm not so sure of that, but they can definitely contend. Look, I agree. Dan Campbell, I love the guy. I love the way he fires up the team. I'm kind of thinking that Cowboy loss might be the thing that propels him here.
I'm going to call it fiction. I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender this year. I'm not as sold on Jared Goff as you are, Fletch. And Dan Campbell, yes, great coach, but you can't overcome certain adversities in the postseason like injuries. They
Or
just
like
lost.
playing the Rams, which, by the way, I took the Rams.
Yeah.
So I guess I would say fiction too, but I like Dan Campbell.
Sam Laporta goes down. Brock Wright was injured before their last game of the season. They're thin at tight end. That's an important position in this offense with Ben Johnson, their offensive coordinator, plus Matthew Stafford coming to Detroit in the opening round. They are not Super Bowl contenders as far as I'm concerned. Okay. NFL Factor Fiction continues with this one. All the head coaches on playoff teams will return to the teams they currently coach in 2024. TD Factor Fiction.
Fiction. I do not like what's going on over there in Philadelphia. I think there's a bit of a meltdown there. I think they'll call for a change. The other one I feel like is a little shaky. Dallas. I don't think Mike McCarthy hangs around, to be quite honest, if they don't win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we've heard too much about those two teams for me to be comfortable in saying fact, so I will also go fiction.
Okay, Fletch says fiction. I agree with both of you. I'm going to say fiction as well. I do think there's going to be shakeup, and I do think it's going to be in the NFC East. Moving on to this one, NFL Factor Fiction. The Houston Texans will appear in the AFC Championship game.
Fiction.
Is that okay? So Let's go first. You say fiction.
Browns are going to beat them in the first round.
Okay.
Feel the same way. Fiction. I think the Browns have this one.
I hate this. I hate this, but I completely agree with the two of you. It's fiction. I'm the biggest CJ Stroud supporter and fan of his, but I think Flacco's elite. You know how I feel about Joe Flacco. The Browns will get to the divisional round at very least. Lamar Jackson, in our final NFL Factor Fiction, will lead his team out of the tunnel in Super Bowl LV3. Factor Fiction, TD.
I hate this as well because I don't want it, but I think right now it's fact. I think it's fact. I think that's what happens. Now, this could change here just with this weekend, seeing some of these teams. It might sway me, but I have to go fact.
Okay, Ravens will be a Super Bowl team. What about you, Fletch?
The only way this is a fact is if the Buffalo Bills invite Lamar Jackson to hold the flag for them coming out of the tunnel in Super Bowl.
Wow.
What is it, LV3?
It's LV3, yeah.
Yeah, because it's 58.
58.
Fiction.
Okay. I agree with you. Fletch, fiction. I think the Ravens are going to get knocked out in the divisional round. I have zero trust in Lamar Jackson in the postseason until he proves me wrong. He's had stinkers in the postseason. He has one good game in the postseason. The rest have been real struggles to watch. All right, that's how you do it. And we are going to need callers.
Right.
We're going to need callers, but not right now. Not right now, because Fletch
he just jammed a churro.
Fletch has a churro. But I want you to call at exactly 7:57. This number, 7:57. Call at that time. This number, here comes 877 SORG 760. That's SORG spelt with an S. SORG 760. 877 767 4760. But don't call until 7:57.
Is that the cream-filled one?
Have you guys tried one of these
The
yet?
churros are amazing.
My God.
We are going to give away that
I'm almost in
Sombreros
tears right now.
Mexican food $50 gift card. It has rendered Fletch into tears. This man, we just watched a grown man weep as he ate a cinnamon sugared fried dough, cream filled. Glorious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Glorious.
Coming
indeed.
up next, red pill, blue pill. Okay. We have a new firing in the NFL. We got to chew on that. The Aztecs hoops beat San Jose State. We also have to head out to Pittsburgh. Our next stop in our postseason roundup. That's next.
This update is presented by the Jim Betrell Real Estate Team. We will begin here with Aztecs hoops. The boys getting a win last night at San Jose State, 81-78. Jaden Ledee, 31 points, another double-double for the superstar on the Aztecs. Big one coming up this weekend, Saturday. It's going to be on the road in New Mexico at the Pit. That game starts at 11 o'clock. We'll have pregame coverage for you starting at 10:30. NFL Titans fire their head coach, Mike Vrabel. And as the regular season ends, numbers have been run. The 2023-2024 regular season averaging 17.9 million viewers in the NFL. That's the highest since 2015. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Betrell has the buyer. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
Yeah. Good morning and happy Wednesday to those who celebrate. It's a celebration in this studio, certainly because of Sombrero's Mexican food. Javier stopped by. A huge thank you to him and his family, the owners, operators of Sombrero's Mexican food. 40 years in the business, San Diego style Mexican. We tried all three of the breakfast burritos: chorizo, bacon, sausage. You got the egg, the potato, the cheese. The salsas now come in these like little dressing packets.
Yeah.
Super convenient, especially if you're on the run while you're eating your breakfast. The buñuelos, the cream and strawberry stuffed churros. We have been spoiled, gentlemen.
Yeah, I like when you said we tried all three. We ate 3 breakfast burritos.
And we're
They're
not
cut in half.
and now we can't eat for the rest of the day. We've reached our calorie allotment. All right. So
You guys remember when you were in the throes of the diet with SDFatLoss.com in the reduction phase, how good that first bite of food, like food, like a burrito tasted?
Yeah.
I'm in heaven right now, boys.
Yeah. You're going to take a nap.
It's coming soon.
Yeah. Be on the lookout for Ben snoring on the microphone this morning. The food is always fresh, always delicious. Like I said, 40 years of experience here in San Diego, serving some of the best Mexican food around. And a huge congratulations to Matthew, who just won a $50 gift card. Compliments of Sombrero Mexican food. Very excited for Matthew. Very excited for us because there's a lot of burritos left over there.
Yeah, exactly.
760 jumping in on the text line. Good morning, my gosh. That's what my name was in high school. Stuffed churro. Happy hump day.
Well, you know what?
Love you, Joe Moon.
Well done, Joe Moon. Well done, my friend. 70470. Start your message with team if you ever want to text the show. We're going to have those Def Leppard Journey tickets coming up later on, too. They're playing at Petco Park. That's an August 30th show. Your chance to win. If you want to buy tickets or get more information, head to livenation.com. But yeah, we have those tickets. We're the only show around with those tickets. So be listening for those. We have red pill, blue pill, but we got to kind of start where we started this show. We had breaking news out of the NFL after we turned the microphones off yesterday. Mike Vrabel out as Tennessee Titans head coach, much to the surprise of many that he would be traded. He was currently under contract, and he felt like one of those names that kept getting tossed around. You know, Colin Cowherd spent an entire opening monologue talking about how the Chargers should go after Vrabel. There have been a lot of chatter about maybe a trade of Vrabel to the Patriots, and they just fire him. Is that a missed opportunity for the Titans, Stevie?
Missed opportunity? I don't know. I mean, if to me, if something's not going right in the organization, or you feel like it's you're not on the same page, then I would say cut bait, go. Let's rock and roll with something different. Missed opportunity. I mean, what are they going to do? Trade him around? I don't know. I just think it's interesting how every single time there's a move anywhere, that the national media automatically points to the Chargers because the Chargers need some help. I mean, and it's very clear. I don't think the Chargers are going to pick up that help. I think they're going to make a very Charger move. But man, you know what? I think the most interesting storyline here is Vrabel going to New England and Belichick heading on down to Tennessee.
God, I want to see that happen. I think yesterday, if you listen to the Titans owner, Rich, she talked about the fact that, yeah, we could have traded him, but it has to be a two-way street. Mike Vrabel has to consent to being traded. And also what she said after that, I thought was a little bit more important. We didn't want to wait 3 weeks and get in the back of the line of everybody else trying to hire coaches. Yeah. So if trading Mike Vrabel did take, say, 3 weeks, well, then that means you are now waiting while Ben Johnson comes off the board, while Jim Harbaugh potentially comes off the board. I think that the Titans want to be in on every single head coach name that's out there right now, in case the Bill Belichick thing doesn't happen. Like, they need to obviously get going here because you have a young quarterback who you're hoping is your future, and Will Levis, well, he needs a new head coach in the building. Stat.
I'm completely in agreement with you, Fletch. And to your point, TD, yeah, maybe this does make way for him going to New England. So the first domino has fallen, right? Mm-hmm. There needed to be some sort of opening for Vrabel to get the ball rolling, whether it's Bill Belichick getting fired or him getting fired, making either the space available in New England or him available as a free agent head coach candidate.
Well, the problem with that, though, is if they could have made the trade, then New England wouldn't be on the hook for one more year of Belichick. Well, if they fire him, they still got to pay the guy.
Right.
Well, we actually don't know how many years Belichick has left. Like, his contract has been shrouded in mystery. We know that for sure next year he's under contract, but he renegotiated his contract at the beginning of last season. It could be a 4 or 5 year deal. We don't know.
Yeah. And who knows, maybe there's a buyout somewhere in there. I don't know. I'm not sure if at this point in his career, Belichick would be comfortable with that. Look, the one thing that I gathered from that season-ending press conference was Belichick had his normal candor, if you want to call it, with the media, where he expressed his remorse for how the team performed against the Jets, just sort of mumbling his way through it. And I do think that's real. Like, I do think his concentration was on the Jets, and he's probably not concentrating necessarily on what his future holds.
How the hell did you guys hear that man in meetings? Like, team meetings, when he's talking to 60 people.
Extremely different. So the voice you hear Belichick give to the media during my 3 seasons with it, I've never heard that voice. Like, I mean, occasionally, like if you're like in the lunch line with him, going through like the chafing trays, getting your, whatever, scalloped potatoes and steak or whatever. Like, yeah, when he had conversations with you, sometimes it was that real subdued tone he takes with the media, like, hey, well, coming up this weekend, like, we're going to need you. We're going to need you to step up. And then you're just like, yes, coach. Yes, coach. And then, you go find a seat at the table.
I mean, sorry, coach.
And then you're like, I think he just fired me. I think that's what just happened there. But the point being, like, in team meetings, he's super expressive. He's like, listen, the Lions are coming. This was when Detroit sucked, right? The Lions are coming in, and yeah, they're 1-7. And yeah, I know everybody's saying that we're going to beat them by 1 million. Well, I got news for you. And then, like, he would go off. He would absolutely go off. Like, he would be like, check this out. The Miami Dolphins thought they had them fooled defensively on first down. They didn't need to go further than the length of my bleep. And they couldn't get a yard. And you're just like, oh my God, he's right. The Detroit Lions are going to win the damn Super Bowl. And then all of a sudden you go out there and you beat them by like 30 on Thanksgiving. And you're just like, oh yeah, I guess he was just trying to get us all jacked up, but it worked. And it's because he was so expressive.
That's the point.
With the media though, he's just like, yeah, it was a disappointing game and we're on to Cincinnati. Next question.
I wonder if he comes off of those post-game presser stages and like secretly has a moment to himself where he's like, yeah, man, I was really effing with him this time.
What I really love is when somebody asks him a question about like, listen, so you signed this new long snapper and they ask like a slightly educated question about special teams. Like, in terms of long snapping, the normal time it takes the ball to get to the punter and then the punter to kick the ball, it's 2 seconds, and he's been known to have a really quick release. Yeah, and the spiral's real tight. And that reminds me, and he'll go back and give you a history of the position of long snapping, and it'll be like a 40-minute dissertation for the media. And everybody's there like, do we add this to the transcript? Do we need to even write all this down? But yeah, I digress. The point is, Belichick may be out in New England. And if he is, there's a lot, and I mean a lot of people who are supposing that it will be Vrabel who will replace him in Foxborough.
Yeah. I mean, that would be a. Let's see it.
Okay, we got our morning monologues, and then on the other side of halftime, we got to play a little red pill, blue pill. So we got to get cooking here. Who wants to go first on morning monologues? TD Fletch?
That's right.
That's okay.
Forgot about that.
I will remember at some point that there's a open for this segment.
You want me to go first?
Today is not that day.
So I'm looking at the rundown here.
Sorry.
Did you want me to talk about this for the monologue?
Okay. So
this was just a guess.
I moved morning. We were going to do morning monologue earlier in the show, but we went long on Steph Curry and Aisha Curry and all the. So things got moved down.
So you just put in what you think we were going to talk about?
So for Fletch, I wrote college hoops, probably.
Accurate.
And then for TD, I wrote, did you guys know that dinosaurs have feathers? This changes everything, probably. Sorry.
I can talk about dinosaurs if you want. Which, I mean, it's a split decision in scientists or with scientists if they think that dinosaurs actually had feathers or not, because a lot of scientists, and I would say it's leaning on the majority of scientists, think that dinosaurs were actually warm-blooded and therefore they were a closer relative to birds than they were reptiles, partly because, one, the size of a dinosaur being cold-blooded, it would take them hours and hours and hours in the sun to be able to get up and move around. And that if you look at like the raptor or the T-Rex, they are predatory animals. The T-Rex may even more like a vulturous animal. So it would prey on the food that it finds out in the wild, not so much attacks like a raptor, which clearly we call birds of prey raptors.
Yeah.
Which, so yes, they think they had feathers. Also, when they look at the bone density of dinosaurs, they see that they had a very high metabolism, which would be like a bird, such as a hummingbird, that never stops flapping its wings, not a reptile. Also, if you look at the closest living relative on planet Earth, that would be a cassowary, which you can see out at the safari park here out in the San Pasqual Valley. The cassowary is a bird, and you want to just look at a dinosaur, look at a chicken walk around.
Look at a chicken.
Mother effort didn't even prep this. This is all off the cuff.
Yeah. He looked Fletch and I dead in the eyes, and he just gave a 2-minute speech on dinosaurs.
He didn't stutter once.
Okay, so he's 100% right, by the way, with everything he just said. I recently watched a video, and I'm almost positive that TD could have narrated the video that I watched with my 8-year-old recently about dinosaurs. Okay, Fletch, you're up next. I said college basketball probably because of the Aztecs. And
you're absolutely right.
Okay.
It's not going to be Aztec centric. It's going to be college basketball centric. So yesterday was January 9th. January 9th is 2 months before March 9th. March 9th is when the majority of the United States of America starts getting crazy about college basketball. Start getting crazy right now. I'll tell you, I watched like 8 or 9 straight hours of college hoops yesterday, and it was one of my favorite days I've had in a long, long time. When it comes to regular seasons, conference schedules, whether it's college basketball, the NFL, or I would even argue golf, they really knock it out of the park because everything matters so much. Major League Baseball, NBA, get off your ass and take some freaking notes because your regular seasons don't mean anything. Yesterday, watching college basketball, I saw the number 1 and the number 2 teams in the nation lose to unranked opponents. You know how big of an impact that is going to have on them as we get closer to March Madness? Well, maybe they're a 2 seed instead of a 1 seed in the tournament. But what I'm saying is a game on January 9th had just as much meaning and power as a game on February 9th. And that's important. NBA, MLB, take notes, make your regular seasons more valuable. You will get higher numbers.
Yeah. And maybe an in-season tournament.
No, I didn't say that.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, that might work. Just give it a shot. See what happens.
Hoist the banner. Okay, my morning monologue.
College basketball, it's an 18-game conference schedule. That's what it is. You know how important every single one of those 18 games are?
No, I'm with you.
College basketball has one of the more consequential regular seasons, I agree. However, the playoff bracket is so big that you're in more safe footing than in a sport like obviously college football or pro football. And I'm hoping college football gets to a point where we're like, oh, wow, like this 12 game bracket or team bracket, or maybe if they expand it from there, really works. All right, really
comparatively, though, the NCAA tournament is small. You're dealing with like a window of 300 and something teams compared to the NFL, where you're dealing with a much smaller window.
I get what you're saying, but how many of the 300 teams really have a chance?
About 120.
Yeah, it's not that many.
120,
and so
have a chance to make the tournament. I would say year in, year out. Yeah,
and 70 make it. So among a field of 120, we're talking about 70 make it. So we're talking about half get in. So that's my point. Is you're right. Short amount of games and highly contested when we're talking about the top of that bracket, but obviously the NFL's got this thing cinched. You could tell by their ratings, which are averaging close to 18 million viewers per game in 2023. That's up several clicks from 2022.
Taylor Swift have anything to do with that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For my morning monologue, everybody's heard the phrase buyer beware.
Mm-hmm.
During this time of year, Black Monday just passed. It's the first week after the regular season. How about this one? Firer beware. When you fire a head coach, you better be damn sure that the grass is actually greener on the other side of this firing. I think a lot of NFL teams make the mistake of falling prey to popular consensus. Look at the Eagles. They fired Andy Reid. Andy Reid was a successful coach for a long time.
Yep.
A long time in Philadelphia. Great culture builder. Locker room loved him. Maybe it was starting to get a little shaky there at the end of his run in Philadelphia. Went to Kansas City, turned them into immediate winners. And then after doing so, playoff contending with Alex Smith, found Patrick Mahomes, who will be in the Hall of Fame one day. Look at Bill Belichick with the Cleveland Browns. That was a playoff team. They probably fired him too early, to be perfectly honest. It worked out for the Baltimore Ravens, after the move from Cleveland to Baltimore. They figured it out in pretty short succession after that, but they could have had Bill for the next 20 years.
Right.
I mean, it went pretty good in New England. Baltimore had spurts, but it went a lot better in New England with Belichick. That's how I feel about this Mike Vrabel firing. The Tennessee Titans, they were bad record-wise these past two seasons. But that is probably one of the most competitive bad teams in football. And so I think it's a little bit of a careless decision. That locker room loves their coach. Vrabel, to me, looks like one of these guys who's going to land somewhere and he's going to shift the culture. And I think Tennessee is going to be kicking themselves for this decision.
Vrabel feels like a guy, no matter what locker room he goes to, they would love him.
Yeah.
He just seems like that kind of guy that a player would want to play for, which is what you need.
Yeah, completely agree. All right, quick halftime here. Again, we have those tickets to Def Leppard and Journey playing Petco Park in August. Those available on this show today. Keep listening for your chance to win. And then Red Pill, Blue Pill. Okay, really quick, buzzing through this 81-78 final last night in San Jose for the Aztecs. They beat the Spartans. Jaden Ledee, leading scorer, 31 points, 10 rebounds to fill out the stat sheet with a double-double. Lamont Butler contributed with 16. Jay Pell had the block of the night, saving the game-tying layup from going in. Tennessee Titans fired Mike Vrabel. We were just talking about that after back-to-back losing seasons. He's available as a free agent head coach candidate. And also, how about this? Angered that the team was firing two of his closest lieutenants, New York Giants defensive coordinator Wink Martindale cursed out head coach Brian Daboll during a team meeting on Monday. And that's what precipitated his resigning from the post of defensive coordinator in New York. So the Giants are looking for three assistant coaches as this offseason gets underway.
What words do you think he said?
I don't think they were the nice ones.
No?
Stupid face?
Yeah, probably.
Butthead?
Yeah.
I think that one probably came up. Yeah.
Huh.
Maybe a couple more.
Your mama's so ugly.
Yeah.
I don't know where it goes.
It's amazing when you think about Brian Daboll. It feels like the struggles in New York kind of got swept under the rug.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why this isn't a bigger story.
I wonder if there's an excuse that Daniel Jones got hurt, so you can't judge him on this season. I think it's a bad excuse because Daniel Jones was playing bad. I worry that Brian Daboll is becoming the really good coordinator who couldn't hack it as a head coach
I think that Tommy DeVito actually saved his ass this season
because it was fun.
because it was
Yeah.
fun. I mean, think about the Giants. When you think back on the season, you think, okay, awful offensive line, excuses for both of their starting quarterbacks at different times, Jones and Taylor. But yeah, I mean, what a complete disaster of a season until Tommy DeVito came in and made it fun.
It was fun for like a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe 2.
I think they won 3 straight with Tommy DeVito.
Well, I'm not talking about the wins, but just the fun factor with Tommy DeVito, which unfortunately the pizza thing really derailed his love, I think, over there.
It might have. Okay, really quick. Red pill, blue pill. We especially after we had our food drop from Sombrero Mexican food. Red pill, and this is for the rest of your life. You got to stick with one choice. Red pill, Ruffles and onion dip. Blue pill, tortilla chips and guac. What are you going with, gentlemen?
This is a tough one for me. It's a toughie.
I'm frozen.
Here's the thing. It's for life. For life.
Chips,
Okay?
dude, this is not even close.
Yes, it
Really?
is.
It is blue pill, tortillas.
Chips and
Tortillas
guac.
and guac.
You're going chips and guac.
Rich, close your eyes.
Okay.
Close your eyes. Super Bowl Sunday.
Yep.
I know.
You are sitting on the couch. There's friends, family all around you. You're drinking on a cold Yellow Belly Coors, and there is Ruffles with French onion dip in front of you.
I'm opening my eyes. I'm telling you right now, if the Ruffles and onion dip are sitting next to chips and guac, I'm eating the tortilla chips and guac.
See, Walk is a better day-to-day thing, but Ruffles with French onion dip is such a good friends environment.
Yeah. I am so on board with Fletcher. So if I'm looking at rest of my life, I think I have to go blue pill because I can sustain a loving relationship with chips and guac longer than I can with the Ruffles and onion dip. Because Ruffles and onion dip, I honestly will eat them just till I'm sick.
It's like
And
it's
then
like
I
a
don't
no
want
let
it again.
special. I'm going right.
I'm getting chided from afar now. So red pill, Ruffles and onion dip. I get a text message from Erin Bowman, our sales woman extraordinaire, who really handles accounts of 300 million or more. She in all caps, several exclamation points. Red!
Wow.
Red! There's a lot of passion here.
By the way, Aaron Ballman, happy birthday.
Today?
Happy birthday
Today?
today.
You want us to bring you chips and dip?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, we should. With
we should.
Ruffles
Yeah,
and
don't tell
onion
her.
dip.
Don't
Okay,
tell
we
her.
won't say a
We'll
word.
say word. Yeah, we'll go get
All right,
Ruffles and
guys.
onion dip.
If you remember yesterday on the show, our buddy Jamar on Twitter actually threw out a red pill blue pill for us. That was bottom of the bag French fries or line bites of ice cream. Okay. Bites while you're standing in line to pay for your ice cream.
Red pill, the bonus fries, I'll call them.
Right.
Blue pill, the ice cream licks while waiting online.
Right. That pillowy ice cream that barrels out right at the cone that you take bites of.
What the hell are you said online?
Yeah. Do you ride around town on your online skates?
Wait a second. Is it in line? Is it supposed to be in line?
If you live in California, it's in line.
Yeah, you're only online if you're like surfing the web.
I've always said it online.
You mean like if you're waiting on? Well, not on the phone.
Well, no. If I'm waiting online, like at the bank, there's a line. I'm waiting on that line.
Red pill, you're online. Blue pill, you're in line.
Obviously,
Blue
red
pill.
I'll admit to you. Flop.
Anyways.
By the way, that you're doing a Boston accent at a terrible job.
Bonus fries or line bites.
Okay, this is really tricky. I love French fries and I love ice cream almost equally, but there is something special about that moment when you reach the bottom of the bag and you realize that not only did you have an overflowing cup or cardboard container of fries, but also they put almost the same amount in the bottom of the bag. So I'm saying bonus fries.
I'm going to go line bites, and it's mostly for safety because if I don't take the line bites, I think I'll over my hand.
I'm taking the line bites also because I love the moment when you start panicking that some of your ice cream is going to hit the ground.
Right,
It's like,
right.
oh my god, oh my god.
Yeah.
You know that one?
Wait, what was that
I'm
again?
pretty sure it's
Yeah, that's right.
no, there's two dragons. There's two dragons.
Yeah.
You gotta spam them with ice cream cones. Really, and there's blood, and you like it. It gives you energy. It slaps you in the face. That's right.
Oh, okay.
Some ice cream
Wow,
cones here.
wow. I thought you were going to do it.
Those dragons, by the way, are right next to the sides of your head. I'm just speaking of which, we were fighting a dragon earlier this year. Yeah, end of last year. And it was our weight.
It was. And we played.
We certainly did.
The beasts were us because we were all big fat fatties, and SD Fat Loss came in and they said, we can assist here. We see you're failing at life. So they jumped
Failure
in.
to thrive is what those are the words they use.
Right. Exactly that. Or maybe we were just thriving a little too much, but they jumped in and said, hey, we can help you lose those unwanted pounds. You want to lose up to 30 pounds in 2 months? And we said, yeah, is that even possible? And in fact, it was more than possible. I lost 31 in 8 weeks. Fletch was over 35. Rich was about 35. I mean, as a show, we were pushing 120 pounds lost in 2 months' time. So if you're looking to lose weight very, very quickly, but then most importantly, keep that weight off, SD Fat Loss is who you want to call, or SDFatLoss.com is where you want to go. Now, this isn't a fad diet. This isn't a prescription drug diet, because those are, well, they're just appetite suppressants. They once you stop the diet, you're going to gain the weight right back. That's not what SDFatLoss.com does. They're going to show you the right way to do it, the correct way to eat, and then the correct way to keep that off. You don't want to do the yo-yo diet. You don't want to do that. That's no good. You won't have to exercise. You won't count points. You won't count calories. You won't eat food you don't want to eat. SDFatLoss.com. Go there right now. Schedule your free consultation today. SDFatLoss.com. Let's head out to Pittsburgh here coming up with Nick Farbaugh. He covers the team. We'll do it next. Coming up, we're going to talk to Nick Vrabel. He covers the Steelers next.
This update is presented by Cal Coast Credit Union. Starting off with Aztecs hoops, boys get a win last night at San Jose State, 81-78. Jaden Ledee with another 30-point double-double. He's one of two players in the country to do that multiple times this season. Transfer Jay Powell, he hit a huge three down the stretch and to seal the game with a block on the Spartans. With 4 seconds left, he would end the game. Big game on Saturday. Aztecs stay on the road. They got New Mexico at the Pit at 11 a.m. Also in college basketball, number 1 and number 2 both lose yesterday. Big shakeups in the top 25 are coming. And in the NFL, Titans fire their head coach Mike Vrabel after 6 seasons. Get a 4.78% APR auto loan at California Coast Credit Union with no payments for 90 days. Offer valid with Cal Coast car buying service discount. Interest accrues immediately. Restrictions do apply. Federally insured by NCUA. Visit calcoastcu.org.
It's Big Rich, TD, and Fletch at San Diego Sports 760. I made the mistake. I went over to the table that has our sombrero Mexican food on display. I grabbed the buñuelo. I cracked it in half. Why? I had to go back and grab the other half.
Yeah, dude.
It's dumb.
I mean, they're big. They're big, like they're big triangles
Yeah.
of deliciousness. But yeah, you just eat the whole thing.
So I mean, that's like a flour tortilla, right? That they cut up and fry.
Yeah,
that flour tortilla has to be 4 feet wide.
It is pillowy soft. And then they fry it to a perfect crunch. And then they add the cinnamon and sugar. Sombrero's Mexican food.
Yeah, that's where it's at. Also, we do have a pair of tickets. See Def Leppard and Journey, Petco Park, August 30th. Tickets and info available at livenation.com, or just keep listening, especially this segment, if you would like to win those, as long as we remember.
I like the sounds of that. And also, I appreciate your honesty because we have been known to be a bit forgetful. A couple of chatty Cathy's over here.
Come on. We get distracted.
We're joined by Steelers beat writer and great follow on X.com, the artist formerly known as Twitter, at Vrabel FB. So Nick Vrabel joining us on the show to talk about the Steelers heading into the postseason, an unlikely wild card candidate here, especially the way the season went at quarterback, some of the stretches. But Nick, before we get into anything Steelers related, with a name like Vrabel, did you ever have anybody scout future opponents for you and then get caught up in any sort of sign stealing scandals in terms of your media journeys?
I did not get caught up in any sign-stealing scandal. Luckily, what I did get caught up in is my teammates deciding to echo the Pitbull song Fireball and go,
Faribault. That's what I got caught up in during my playing days, guys.
Nick Faribault joining us right now out of Pittsburgh. So, yeah, the Steelers, listen, they're going against the Bills, who are arguably the hottest, if not the second hottest team in the AFC heading into the postseason. How much of a chance do you get Pittsburgh in this matchup?
It's not much, and I would feel better if they had TJ Watt. That's the big thing, right? That's how they beat the Bills in 21. They had a really good game up front, and they just kind of destroyed their front, but it's really hard to see them winning this game, mainly because they don't have the firepower offensively to match a Josh Allen, but there is, I think, a formula to win. If they can take the ball out of the air, run the football, and keep the ball away from Josh Allen, like they did Geno Smith in that Seahawks game. They've run the ball extremely well over the last few weeks. They have one of the best run teams in the NFL over this 3-game win streak. That's how they're going to win. They're going to have to do that, make stops in the red zone on defense, cash in their red zone opportunities to 7. That's how they're going to do this. I don't give them a great shot, but I can see the formula as long as they take care of the ball, force Josh Allen to get 1 or 2 turnovers, turn those into points, and run the ball really well. And honestly, this Bills run defense isn't that great, so it is possible.
Nick, Mike Tomlin is deciding, hey, Mason Rudolph, he's our guy, keeping Kenny Pickett out on the bench. How you feel about that one?
Yeah, I think that's the most interesting thing of the season is Kenny Pickett, kind of getting hurt and then not playing anymore. And the big thing is they just haven't gotten enough out of him. I mean, he's been a very nice kind of point guard quarterback, but he doesn't look like a first rounder. He looks like a backup who you're kind of babying throughout the season. And so Mike Tomlin is kind of caping for him. I still think they think he has potential to turn into something. Like, I fully expect him next year to be a part of the starting quarterback competition, which I believe will come about and they will do stuff with there. But I really look at Kenny Pickett and say they need more out of him. They need more playmaking out of him. He can't just be this backup guy that they are trying to baby consistently because they have the weapons. George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, Najee Harris, Jalen Warren, Pat Freiermuth. They have these weapons for him to use, and I just don't feel like he distributes it well enough. His pocket presence, he's skittish in the pocket. He's a guy that misses reads, can kind of drop his eyes when he gets under pressure. So I think he needs a year to reset. He needs this offseason to kind of go back at it, and so we'll see where he's at in training camp.
Nick, it's kind of funny when you look around the national media, you see that Najee Harris doesn't get a whole lot of love, whether it's average yards per attempt or whatever. But then you look at actual stats from the last 3 seasons, he's been one of the most productive backs in the NFL. Do you think Najee Harris has been mislabeled because of a struggle early in his career of just simple yards per carry?
Yeah, and I do think he's also improved with his vision. I think he's a guy that tried to do too much at times, tried to cut it out. He's even said that before, where he is a guy that ran very laterally, but now he's getting downhill. They're using more gap schemes to get him downhill, and the O-line's better too. They're a better run blocking O-line than they have been in the past. And before that, in 21 and 22, this was a really bad run blocking offensive line. They're better at that this year. He gets a little bit of holes, and when you get him in the alley one-on-one, like, good luck trying to tackle this guy. He is 230 pounds. He's got a great stiff arm. He's got great contact balance. So, yeah, I do think he's been misrepresented. I think people don't see the explosiveness from him. He's not a guy that's going to give you 50-yard touchdowns, but he can definitely rev up 20, 30 yards through sheer force and sheer grit. He's a really good leader, too. I think he is a guy that has really changed his game and should change the perception of his game because he's really become more of an all-around back. He's a really good pass protector now. He's a solid receiver. He's a good option all around. And as a runner, too, he's become more efficient. This is his most efficient season. So if you're even going by that yards per carry stat, this is by far his best season.
I'm not a huge fan of hypothetical questions because I think oftentimes they lead you astray from the reality we currently exist in. But, okay, here goes. Mike Tomlin, if they didn't reach the postseason, how likely would it be that he's coaching the Steelers in 2024?
Very likely still. I don't think that was ever in the cards. I never really thought that they were heading towards a separation. I know he has only 1 year left on his contract, so maybe they would have put him into a hot seat situation where he was coaching for his job in the last year of his contract. But I don't think we were ever looking at a situation where Mike Tomlin was going to leave Pittsburgh. I just don't see that happening. He's got too much respect in this organization, and more importantly, he doesn't have much talent in terms of what he's actually done over the last 5 or so seasons. I mean, getting to the postseason in 2021 was a great job by him. That was not a very talented team. This team's a bit more talented. They go 10-7, race the playoffs, even if it's in a wonky way, but the quarterback play hasn't been there. So I think that they realized that. I think they realized that Mike Thomas had limitations on him. So even if they say went from 7-10 and had lost out, I still think he would have been back. Yes, he might have had more pressure on him, but I think they also realized the personnel kind of decisions they have made and what it's done to him, and it's hurt him. And more importantly, I also think that they realize they have a really good coach on their hands. So you don't want to throw a good coach out of the organization if you don't have to, and there has to be that separation. I just don't feel like that is where they are at, even close to right now.
Nick Farabah, Steelers Now beat reporter. Great follow on X. Appreciate it, man. We'll do it again real soon. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys, as always.
There he goes, Nick Farabah. So, yeah, you look at the Steelers in this division, the AFC North, best team potentially in all football with the Baltimore Ravens, potentially. Cleveland Browns, a playoff team after getting the resurgence from Joe Flacco. A half a season against Joe Burrow and those Cincinnati Bengals, which they never said die. Even with Jake Browning, that was a dangerous team. That is a loaded division. And for the Steelers, without a real starting quarterback, to go 10 wins this season is an incredible accomplishment.
And the conference was that good without Joe Burrow for half the season.
Yep.
Like, you think about that, the AFC North, we may have slept on them as the best conference in football this year.
Yeah, 9-win team, the Cincinnati Bengals.
Wow.
I mean, it's really every single team finished with a winning record.
And remember how bad the Bengals started with Joe Burrow. Remember, he was like pretty injured the first 4 weeks. He didn't really come alive till week 5.
They kind of dug themselves, I believe it was an 0-3 hole.
It was.
Yeah. And then they kind of came alive, but they were still
a 1-3 hole. And then they got it going after Joe
that's
Burrow
right. That's right.
And they beat the 49ers.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. They got a little hot for a minute, but they were always playing injured. I mean, they were just trying to limp along. So impressive season. Man, here's a code that you guys need to remember. SD760. That is the code you need when you sign up with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL. Woo! They just dropped a brand new way to play fantasy football with Pick 6. New customers can make their first NFL picks and get $100 back in Pick 6 credits if they don't win. There we go. Everybody feverishly downloading the new DraftKings Pick 6 app. Now you can sign up with code SD760. That's the code you need, SD760. New customers can get up to $100 back in Pick 6 credits if your first football pick set doesn't win. Only on DraftKings Pick 6 with code SD760. I'm setting my lineup right now. Travis Kelce, more or less than 5.5 receptions. I'm going less. I still think he's broken with Taylor Swift. Patrick Mahomes, more or less than 23.5 completions. I actually think he'll get more there. It's not going to be with Travis Kelce. Look, it's a ton of fun. It's a way to get some skin in the game. It's a way to make every single one of these playoff games matter to you while you're watching them. The crown is yours. One offer per new customer. First qualifying pick set winnings, less entry fees, must generate negative number. Max reward up to $100 equal to amount of negative number issued in non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits. Valid for Pick 6 use only. Expire after 1 year. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 18 plus in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. Valid only in states where DraftKings Pick 6 operates. Void where prohibited. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com. Coming up, all the stories we didn't quite get to. Bottom of the barrel. Coming up next. We're scraping the bottom of the barrel coming up next.
Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you. What a day it has been.
Coming here and stealing our churros?
Sombrero's Mexican food just came in, and now we're just being pilfered by members of the sales staff running in and grabbing packets of
Quick, hide burritos in your pants.
the red and green salsa, the buñuelos, the churros, the burritos. It's been going fast. Congrats to Matthew. We gave him a $50 gift card, and we forgot to solicit calls for the tickets to the show at Petco Park, August 30th. We're going to see Journey and Def Leppard play. Tickets and info available at livenation.com. Let's do this. Let's do 8:55 on the nose. Don't call right now. 8:55 on the nose. Call 877 SORG 760. SORG is spelled with an S. That's 877 SORG 760. I love that. Journey. Now that's like every song every Journey song, barring very few, you're like, yeah, I could get into this. I'm not turning it off.
And Journey played at every stadium across the country.
God, absolutely.
I mean, and probably Don't Stop Believing also crosses over to every wedding.
Oh,
you get everybody singing along there.
Yeah, at some point.
Maybe I should say like a white guy's wedding.
Yeah. Because I'll say this, like the weddings I've been to, at some point there is an anthem that gets played. It's usually when everybody's drank enough.
Yeah,
all the small things.
Wait, that plays at weddings?
Oh, it played at my wedding. It was lit.
I was not invited to
played
that.
At Petco. I didn't know you yet. Not
I
the way I do now.
You did know me though.
You
did know me.
I was invited. I didn't go.
Yeah, Rich just gave me an envelope of cash and said, "Congrats."
I did. I don't even think I bought him a card.
Ramp though.
I think I wrote to Kendall and I on the front of the envelope, and it wasn't even like congrats. I just was like, tell you what, she made the biggest mistake of her life. Here's some plain fare.
And Rich Orberg was my favorite wedding guest. An envelope full of cash is all I need.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Well,
I didn't want him to waste some money on my plate of food.
I'm glad that no one on this show, other than you, Fletch, attended your wedding.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. Actually, none of us attended each other's weddings, and now I'm sad.
We should
get married.
We should renew our vows.
All three of us together.
Listen,
three-way man wedding.
Dude,
I have a great time at weddings.
We need to renew our vows in Vegas, and we need to get one of those chapels as a sponsor on this show.
Yes, the Little White Wedding Chapel is actually where I got married.
Oh, that's right.
The drive-through.
Didn't you guys pay for the good package?
Oh yeah. There was like a number 1, a number 2, and number 3. Come on now, look at me.
You got
I got the number 1. Yeah. It came with a T-shirt and a garter belt.
Now, there was like a murder happening in the background, wasn't there?
There was someone being arrested. Yeah, on our in our wedding package, which included a video. Someone gets arrested behind us. So the glow of blue and red lights are flashing upon our pasty faces.
That is so good.
Yeah, Sarah loves it.
So,
Yeah,
anyways,
super fun.
we're gonna revisit those fond memories.
We should throw TD like a wedding for him and Sarah.
Oh my gosh, yeah, like
And not
100.
tell us.
Where
Yeah,
all
yeah.
the roadies, the dogs, the hangers,
Oh
the
my
bangers are there.
gosh. Can we do that?
A very 760 wedding.
Can we do this?
Yeah, we can.
I'm thinking we should.
Thinking
Tony
we should too.
Kanja, we're gonna need you
Get married on the bar at KMB Bistro.
on the
like
bar.
on top of
Yeah,
it.
like you two are
Holy
standing
smokes.
on the bar.
I'm just gonna let you know that if this occurs, Sarah will be more mad at me than just the Vegas wedding.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay,
Well-
good.
Well, listen, I pissed Sarah off recently by cutting my hair. So
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
She may have a quick trigger finger.
She may not come around until the hair's back.
Yeah.
Well, we got the booze cruise though.
Man, we do.
Oh,
Yeah,
Get
yeah.
married there too.
Which
I'll
I
open
was
up,
thinking, should we go in full cowboy attire?
probably.
100%. And I am so glad you asked.
Thank you.
I
Sexy
want-
Cowboys?
I was thinking like dusty cowboys,
Like
like
Kevin Costner.
Spurs. Yeah, like like we look like
Or
we're
Tim McGraw in 1883.
yes.
I want to spend way too much money on my outfit.
Yes.
I don't want people to be like you even put like dirt on yourself. They're like, well, listen, when you're out roping steer.
That's right.
Can I
Yes.
start bottom of the barrel real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so San Diego State with that win last night, I think we're learning more and more how important it actually was that they escaped San
Mhm.
Jose State with a
Mhm.
3-point win. Because you look ahead at their schedule, boys, they got more quad 1 teams on their schedule than they do 3 and 4 combined. The Mountain West has been so damn good, this non-conference schedule, that the Mountain West all of a sudden is littered with landmines all over the place, which is why Ken Pom has the number 1 team in the Mountain West by the end of the regular season, having 5 losses in conference.
Wow.
So
Wow.
San Diego State entering their toughest stretch of the season by far over the
Wow.
next 2 weeks.
How about this one? The state of California, the controller here in California, wants to change the tax code in California because of the Shohei Ohtani contract. They do not want any team to ever be able to push that much money out. Listen, Taxman wants his money.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Like, because this is what people were saying. Like, this works for the Dodgers. This works for Shohei, because after his career is over, he could move to Dubai.
Yeah.
Like,
Like-
he can move to a place that has 0 income tax.
Wherever he's sitting when they write that big check.
Yep.
That's where he's paying tax.
So is California trying to change it to where any deferred contracts, like in any walk of life, are then able to be taxable on where you sign the contract?
I don't know what he's trying to. I didn't read that much into it. I just saw that that's what they're trying to do here, and it is the amount you can defer, and it will be any contract. It's not just sports teams.
So
But
what
yeah,
it's like $678 million is owed to him after the contract is over.
right?
So if California is thinking, well, where's going to be our $320 something million that we're supposed to get on that money?
Yes.
So this is from Controller Cohen. Right now, the tax system allows unlimited deferrals for those fortunate enough to be in the highest tax brackets, creating significant imbalance in the tax structure. The absence of reasonable caps on deferral for the wealthiest individuals exacerbates income inequality and hinders fair distribution of taxes. I would urge Congress to take immediate and decisive action to rectify this imbalance. Here's the problem, though, for Controller Cohen. There's a lot of people in Congress who get awfully rich on deferred payments after they're out of office.
Yeah, if you,
Whoops.
California, if you want this to pass, I need to see exactly where that $328 million is going.
You probably would be unhappy if you saw where it was going.
Yeah.
Then I want to be able to change where that money goes.
Well, good luck.
Yeah, well, run for office. I'll vote for you.
Right, exactly.
You got
Exactly.
2
Imagine.
votes right here.
Yep. And you can take your bill to Capitol Hill. It's a song on that.
The new Star Wars movie was announced.
Yeah, worst name ever, by the way.
Yeah, I don't love it either.
Yeah,
What is
it is The Mandalorian and Grogu.
Oh, Baby Yoda.
Yeah, but
I'm actually
but I mean
kinda
that's
pissed about this.
that's as creative as they could be.
No, here's why I'm pissed about this, and I think this is why a lot of people are pissed about it. This means that there's no more Mandalorian series. They're just going to do movies from now on.
yeah.
And I love the series.
John Favreau will be directing, which
Mhm.
it blows my mind that he is that good of a director. I mean, he has
He's
so many
incredible.
hits under his belt.
Oh, he does. Yeah. Iron Man.
Iron Man is John Favreau.
Yeah.
Swingers.
Yeah.
Elf.
The Breakup, was that Jon Favreau?
Might have been.
He was in
With
that
Vince
movie.
Vaughn.
It might
and
have
Jennifer-
been.
But yeah, he's absolutely killed it. Yeah, Mandalorian and Grogu is the name of the movie. So,
But every other Star Wars movie, A New Hope,
yeah.
The Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi.
Rogue
Yeah, I don't know. Who's in it? Mandalorian and Grogu.
Done.
That sounds good.
They should have just named it Baby Yoda.
They should have been named it Baby Yoda.
Let's see. What
Definitely.
else do we have here? Jason Kelsey opened up on the Eagles' struggles on the New Heights podcast, saying we're not the team we want to be. But he's insisting that it's a brand new season in the postseason. So the Philadelphia Eagles, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Eagles got their number in the regular season. Can they do it again in the postseason?
The quote there was, "It don't effing matter anymore."
Yeah.
Everyone's
That's true.
0-0. Here we go. Nick Farbaugh covers the Steelers. He joined us in the 8 o'clock hour. Tom Withers in the 7 o'clock hour covering the Cleveland Browns. Sombreros, Mexican food, dropping off some yummy, yummy food with our buddy Javier. And Omar Kelly covering the Dolphins in the 6 o'clock hour. All of that up on the free iHeartRadio app. Subscribe, like, rate, review, all the things. Roadies, hangers, dang bogs, bangers. Love you.
The bangers.
Yeah.
The bangers and the dangers.
And get ready to call 877-767-4760 for those tickets to Def Leppard and Journey.
And happy birthday, Aaron Baum.
Oh, yeah. Happy birthday, EB. Swing by. We got some breakfast burritos for you. And if you're driving around right now, head out to Sombreros Mexican Food. They cater too.